Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Pro League Season 5. It's been a little bit of a stumble, we've had a bit of a break, it's been quiet around here, but we're finally back to bring the ruckus. This time around, one of the loudest of them all, it is Harry joining me on this desk. Very happy to have you here. How have you been? How are you feeling about today?
Yeah, no, I've been fantastic. You know, we had a week kind of hiatus away from it, but now we are back bringing the pain. And, you know, what a fantastic game for us to head into this. I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. We're kind of not seeing maybe the height, but we're seeing, two teams that definitely have a lot invested into today's games.
It's true. They've got a lot sort of behind them they need to bring and display in today's matchup. So let me have a look actually at that schedule as well, so you guys at home know what's going on, not only here, but also on the main stream. Obviously, though, over on that secondary stream, 9:20, unfortunately, we only had the one game today, but we're hoping it's going to make up for the fact that it could be an interesting one. Obviously, you've got Kinguin, the team that worked their way through. They fought tooth and nail to make it here, Harry, and now they're looking like they're starting to let it slip. They're in that relegation zone, and up against EnVy, this could sell a really sour feat for them.
Yeah, I mean, EnVy currently find themselves kind of middle of the board, and I feel like now would be a great time, to switch things up and see, where kind of the rest of the teams are in the standings. But yeah, as we know, EnVy, they're going to find themselves in the middle. Kinguin, they're right down at the bottom, and after they fought so hard to make their way out through the Mountain Dew League, now potentially could be relegated all the way back down once again.
That's true. So let's take a look at those overarching standings as well, see where everyone else is, and just work our way through it. I mean, if you just go through yourself, give me a couple of top picks here. I mean, just looking at it though off the back, obviously, as we touched on, there is Kinguin in that 14th spot. I mean, that is the relegation zone, but that's the thing. That's really quite a sour feat for them overall, because as we've said, they took so long to get here. Now it's not looking good. You think back as well, only a few weeks ago, that was when Ninja Pyjamas were sitting. And now, since the addition of Draken, they have torn their way up. They're now in 8th place. This leaderboard has shifted massively in the last few weeks of Pro League.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, you know, the other team we need to be keeping an eye on tonight are EnVyUs. And, you know, one thing I really want to look at from them is if they pick both of these up, they can suddenly find themselves propelled up into the top 4. You know, kind of joining those teams that are on the cusp or, you know, could be knocked out, back down out of the, you know, top spot. But still, they're going to find themselves in a great spot if they can pick these up. And going into this up against Kinguin, the team that's currently bottom, that's got to be a bit of a morale boost for them. And, you know, definitely not short of the possibility of rising on up.
It's true, there's a lot on the line here for both of these teams. I mean, ideally, Kinguin, they just want to give themselves something. They're not even going to really get themselves into a good spot, though, if they pick up these wins here overall. But it's still at least something to grasp onto. We are working our way sort of towards the ends now of Pro League. You know, we're getting towards the closer. And we just need to see something else coming out. And talking about where Kinguin came from, obviously the Mountain Dew League, that's where they fought their way through. They rose through the ranks, and you can too head over there and try and climb your way up. Obviously, it's coming towards the end of that as well. The finals will be held very soon. They're going to be awesome to catch out. Obviously, you casted previous season and some of this season, I believe. So
yeah, you know, it's been a great series of games across the board. The finals, like you say, are going to be occurring soon. I believe that's going on here in the UK, which is going to be great. But yeah, I'm very excited to see who does rise up. Big are in a great spot right now. There's a lot going on, and it is going to be awesome. So shout out to Mountain Dew for that.
Loves it. Big fan. He was having a couple before the stream, obviously. Gets him nice and lubed up for the game.
Sugar rush.
It's true. That's what we all love. And guys, as well, if unfortunately you are unable to catch today's stream, you know, you're busy halfway through, you're not going to be able to watch both matches, when you head over to the YouTube channel where you can subscribe and keep up to date with everything that's going to be going on. Obviously, the VODs will be posted on there. You can catch us whenever we're live. There's going to be lots of content on there, so you might as well subscribe, right? Why not? And whilst you're there, I mean, Harry, what should they be doing whilst they're on that channel?
They got to ring the bell, because without it, you won't know when we're live, and you might miss out on some of the action, even while you are on your computer doing nothing.
That's true indeed. Now, one of the things you shouldn't miss out on, though, is going to be the PaySafeCard last week's top 5. Now, obviously, we weren't there last week. You know, we had a bit of a breakaway. We gave you some downtime. But some of those frags from the week before, they have been locked in now. Everyone's looked through. They found the best of the best. We want to highlight those to you now. So when you have a look through, get yourself a little bit more energetic for today's games.
Neo lurks in the smoke. He knows the bomb's ticking away fast. He knows someone's trying to defuse. Does he have time for this, though? Here's the defuse. Gets stopped. Neo's in there. He gets himself 2. One more for Neo, and that is the round for Virtus Pro.
You're going to see a bit more of an aggressive push comes in, but he gets the quick scope, and he got Dizzy jumping. So he's able to follow it through into the second, and then a no scope as well on a CJ. Oh my god, and then he hits ZQK as well.
Unsure what's going their way, but RPK adjusts so well on the angle. Going to swing out and find Pasha, but now the short play comes in. There's still players in towards, but the spray is so good from RPK. He has decided everything on towards this, and that's his ace as well.
Flamey's down. Guardian's lost his wingman now. He needs to do it on his own. 2 very low health opponents on the map. One goes down, now looking for one more. Guardian makes it happen through the top of the box.
As he can see the smoke starting to come in. So he's the master, and there's the first headshot, looking for more.
He's very, very good with this gun. Knows they're going to be close to Reese. The flash means they've got to be there. Lines up the headshots. He's got number 3. Bomb down as well. There's the 4th. Nico nearly goes for a Deagle ace.
Hope you guys are feeling ready for the games after that. Some fantastic clips to try and get your blood flowing a little bit as we work our way into it. And obviously, it's a new month, Harry. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And that means the fan vote's back. Get on over there. Get your votes locked in. Who are your favourite players? I mean, is it Nico after that insane Deagle play? Obviously, a Danish bit of demolition coming out there. What we love to see. Fantastic stuff on the line. Who's some of your favourite players, Harry?
Right now, probably Nico. I hate that. I mean, I don't hate
the Danish Nico or Nico.
No, Nico, the Bosnian Nico, the man himself. He's been just tearing things apart, and he's phenomenal. That's who would get my vote. Who would get yours?
Oh,
it's a tricky one.
It is a bit of a tricky one. I'm going to go for one of the old guard. Obviously, he might not have been having the best show recently, but I've got to give it to Guardian, actually. Someone that
I mean, that was my second place. That was my second place choice, so there you go. That's us.
That's true. That's us. That's us. But this is you, and this is the game, actually, not you. This is what we're going to be working our way through. It is going to be the matchup, obviously, between Team EnVyUs going up against Team Kinguin. Kinguin, they've been struggling a little bit. You know, as we touched on, they've took so much effort to finally work their way in. They're into Pro League. They're giving it their all. I mean, first couple of games went their way. They actually did pick up a couple of results, right? They looked good. There was a few surprises there. Then they sort of hit a nail on the wall and just got so lost. They lost track of flow. They look like they've just slowed down so much recently.
Yeah.
What have you sort of noticed with that?
I mean, that's kind of the real problem, right? As we came into the year, they were looking great. They were in top form. They managed to make it out of Mountain Dew League. They're firing on all cylinders. They make their way into the Pro League. And like you said, you know, we see things start off, you know, fairly decently from their point of view. And then things very quickly go downhill. Now they find themselves bottom of the board, especially when it kind of comes down to these couple of maps. Inferno is one that's a bit up in the air. But I mean, you know, one thing I think it is just kind of worth mentioning is Kinguin's whole kind of status and where they are. And to me, they're very similar to a team like HR, where they're kind of that bridge the gap team, where they're like T2, T1. They play kind of in both sets of competitions. They do very well. And they can cause upsets against some of the best teams in the world, as we saw, you know, recently where they made it through to the semi-finals, losing out to FaZe in the StarLadder I-League, who then went on to win, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, they can do well. It's the exact same here now with Kinguin, maybe just kind of down a tier, if you can imagine that. They still play in a lot of these kind of tier 3 competitions, and even then they lose to kind of teams that maybe people wouldn't have heard of watching at home. Teams like Vega Squadron, teams like Epsilon have caused a lot of upsets for them, and they're teams that are participating down in the Mountain Dew League. So, you know, the fact that they're already kind of losing to them does bring and cause a lot of question as to their relevance within the Pro League. So, yeah, there is a lot on the line for them.
Because that's the thing, you've got to look at it, you know, if they're unable to beat opponents that technically they are on a level ahead of, they should easily be working their way through. So when you have those results, it provides a benchmark where you at home are just sort of like, how can we work off this? It doesn't look like they're at that same level. And I mean, coming into it, as we said at the beginning of Pro League, it looked like, all right, actually they've got a lot behind them. It seems like structure's going well. Across the board as well, everyone was actually playing phenomenally. It feels like these past few weeks we've seen more of a slowdown individually. Obviously, I mean, we were talking about this beforehand, and we've always said that Miku's kind of been one of those shining lights for the side, right? But you can't look aside players like Rowland and Sparrow. They've always done so much work as well. Yeah. And they were at the beginning of the season. Everyone was hitting their shots. Sparrow looked unstoppable with the AWP. He was creating so many actual openers that allowed them to play very effectively on their T side. Since now, though, it seems like everyone's kind of slowed down. Everyone looks a little bit sluggish. They're unable to get those openers. And that T-side weakness seems to have been one of the bigger factors as well. So it's quite scary. And obviously, going up against EnVyUs coming into this, it's also not going to be a forgiving opponent, is it, really? No, not at all. You know, EnVyUs, of course, they do have a fair bit to prove. That was, of course, after kind of all the French rosters got decimated. We saw the French Dream Team you know, kind of start to unfold, and then what was left in amongst all the ashes, we just kind of got scraping bottom of the barrel, get put into Envy, and actually they've kind of been tearing up the competition, providing some very interesting results. Scream's been out to prove that he can wreak some havoc. And, you know, RPK, XMS, they've also been having some standout performances. Sixer, however, has been the one that I really wanted to focus on. Ever since, you know, he was kind of bought into the scene, he was one that influenced a lot of these teams very positively in terms of his supporting role. But now, even when we look at him on the AWP, especially on Inferno, he's been someone who's had a very good amount of impact for Envy, and I think it's going to be interesting watching him heading into this next game. It's true, right? And Six is actually one of those players that, as himself as well, he did a lot previously when he was back playing with Kenny, because this is the thing, he was able to sort of calm Kenny down in a lot of situations. You could see, you know, there was a great friendship that unfolded without them that allowed them to work so well as a duo. And that's kind of what you need from someone that is in that supporting role. To be able to get on with him so well and it bring everything down to more of a situated level is going to be good, right? Coming into this new lineup of EnVyUs as well, as you said, you know, he's kind of had like a passive heritage. He's been given Kenny's AWP, so he's kind of got that sentimental factor to try and drive him. But he's been living up to it. He's been playing very effectively in a lot of these matchups, doing his role. I think that's kind of the thing as well that people were looking at with Sixer. You need to understand that he's been performing his role fantastically. In terms of just how he's been playing, he might not have insane standout results every match, but honestly, when you look at it on paper and throughout a lot of the demos, when you go and look back, Sixer does not really fall short of what he's designed to do. In that team, he does it very well. He sets a lot of players up, and that's why it's been working quite nicely. And then, as you said to everyone else, starting to step up individually back onto form, that's the difference maker. Scream being able to return to sort of just being that headshot machine. You need to be able to let him loose, right? It's like a Beyblade. You rev him up, just let him go, and hope he kills something. Yeah, perfect analogy. Yeah, I mean, Beyblade Scream.
Yeah, that couldn't have put it better myself. Yeah, I mean, you know, on Inferno as well, the thing is when you do look at it, the gradual kind of path of progression that we've seen from Envy has been something that I've really kind of loved watching unfold. They haven't played it that much. But when they came into it, we saw them have a very poor performance up against Na'Vi. Things didn't go too well. Then they play up against HR, who, you know, were a team that I brought up earlier, kind of that bridging the gap team between T2 and T1. That went through to overtime, 17-19, still in favor of HR, but Envy, you know, had fixed a lot of their issues that we saw them have against Na'Vi. And then just over a week ago, we saw them then beat VP on Inferno. So, I mean, it's only been 3 games. It's only been a matter of weeks as well. But we've seen such a crazy amount of improvement on their performance from them across the board. And, you know, RPK being one of the players who's really, you know, trying to haul everyone across. Whereas, you know, normally you think you'd have to look at the, you know, Scream being the player on the team, you know, the one name that everyone kind of fears. But now RPK has kind of been the Dark Knight, and it's just been pulling everyone else through. At least that's what we saw in their game against VP. Once again, Sixer on the AWP, having a very good performance. I think it's going to be a very interesting one, Inferno especially.
It's true. It's a good map to sort of set the scene here as well. More so, when you look at it, this is more sort of a benchmark map, I'd say, to look sort of what Kinguin can potentially do against EnVyUs going into this. You know, as the first map, it's not really too favourable to Kinguin. We haven't seen the best results from them, but they might be able to bring something to the table. I'm hoping just because of the situation they're in, they're really going to bring their A game here. They need to try and reinvent themselves in some way. Because, honestly, when you look at it, right, at the bottom of the pack already, it's kind of looking like it's starting to go too far for them. It's, you know, it's very much slipped away. There's potential they can try and climb back up, but it's like climbing a greasy pole. Right? Like you can get a couple of hands on there, but you're always going to be sliding. You just need to try and slow yourself down. Maybe get like a, you know, if you have long arms, it might help, I guess. But you know, it's just a struggle.
Or very wide, dry feet. Would dryness help? I imagine it would.
Maybe if you're quite moist, you might slip easier.
Yeah,
it's true. But whilst we wait for the teams to sort themselves out, we are going to slip away briefly. I'm over here. And then we'll be coming back when we can jump in with the action. We will just be heading over to a short break. Stick around though, guys. Go and grab yourself something to drink, leave yourself up a little bit, and we'll be back in with the action.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around after that brief break, but it looks like things have started to sort themselves out. We're jumping in shortly. So Harry, slipping our way back through, transition over there.
Yep.
It's looking good, right? I mean, we kind of spoke quite heavily about both sides. Let's break it more down sort of in terms of the map pool now. We look at the first map, obviously it's going to be Inferno, but later on tonight is going to be that Cobblestone matchup.
Yeah.
This is the one that's kind of the big feat, really, right?
Yeah, I mean, Cobble's very interesting. Kinguin, it's one that they kind of like. Their best map is probably Overpass, but Cobble isn't one that they're too shy to playing, and it's one they played already up against a lot of these Tier 1 teams, and we've actually seen them have some wins against a couple of the teams that are currently in Pro League, or at least on that kind of similar level. And it was also the one that they beat LDLC on, which was the game that actually allowed them to make their way up into the Pro League in the first place, and that was a 16-2 scoreline. So, I mean, they have had a very good time with things. That said, they have lost up against some very, very small teams, lesser known in some smaller leagues, teams such as Outlaws, Spirit, and Encore. Which, I mean, some people won't have heard of, some people will. It just kind of depends what level of CS you are watching. When it comes to the Tier 1 teams, we've seen them have close games, which is a very good sign from them, at least. It's one that you can tell they're somewhat at home at. And when you kind of flip the table around, you see EnVy. It's one that they're not too great on. Their only win has been up against G2 during this season of EPL. So that was, the French super team in which they did come into it and beat them. So yeah, that's going to be coming up later on tonight. I feel like we can address that, though, when it does come underway, as the game is about to begin.
It's all ready. Everyone is set, locked and loaded, ready to kick things off and bring the ruckus, as obviously Kinguin versus EnVyUs. Oh, baited you in there. Caught you out on that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's like April Fools, but a little bit later on in the month.
There we go. We're just letting you know what could be. A little bit of teasing before we do get into this. It is tech pause right now. We had a little bit of we had a couple of issues beforehand, but I imagine they're going to get fixed. So, at least
quite nice, though.
Yeah, no, this is a nice bit of scenery. Here we have the Polish over in the CT spawn in their natural habitat. Just
having a talk.
It's beautiful watching them like this. It's very rare you get to get this close and see them out in the wild.
It's true. I mean, most of them now, they're either in zoos or they've been taken away. It's quite rare to be able to get this up close in these sort of planes. You can see one of it. It looks like a young one on the left, Harry.
Yeah, no, it does. And you can see the mother and father desperately looking for food and protection for their child. It is a truly beautiful spectacle that we should all appreciate a little bit more.
I wonder if we can see the French as well. Obviously, sometimes they're there they are.
Oh,
that's on the second cam. Now these are also quite rare. You can see they like to live more near the waterside, like damper.
They're a little more nomadic. They travel around, and like you say, they live near the water. That, of course, is a source of life.
It's true. That's often the the causes of these battles between the Polish and the French. Obviously, the fighting over that water is something that both of these ecosystems need to survive.
Nature is just a beautiful thing, and I couldn't be happier that you're here to appreciate this with me.
Oh, it's true. It's always good to see. The French here looking a bit more limber, looking like they're doing some kind of communication.
Well, they're ready for war. They mean business. And as we we have a number of cameras set up within the arena, all motion triggered, so we will be not short on the action. This, of course, is where we have camera 3 set up.
Over by the meerkat enclosure, I believe. Not too much going on. They've set up shop, it seems. Classic move, really. But what is on the menu there? As we have a little bit of a zoom closer in. Have you got your glasses on, Harry?
I'm going to go ahead and get them on. So I
pop those on, mate, and have a look if you can.
I'll give this a read. Hang on.
Is that activated almonds? What is that?
I think it's something with toffee. If it looks like it. Oh wait, and I think there's corn.
Is that?
Oh wait, there's something with tomato, Nutella tomato. I think it said.
It might have said crepe. I'm not certain.
Maybe
we could have seen crepe.
Does sound nicer than Nutella tomato, but yeah. So hopefully the technical board is going to be resolved sooner rather than later, as we do just enjoy these flybys of the map.
Yeah, not too long now. Around probably 60 seconds before we jump back in with the action, where it will be exciting to see these two teams finally kick off. Obviously, Kinguin versus EnVyUs. So I had a bit of a joke around, but things will be getting serious very shortly. And this is an important matchup as well. EnVyUs, the potential to really skyrocket their way up those standings if they come through on a 2-0 victory. Kinguin going to be wanting to slow them down here, obviously coming in as the underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, EnVyUs, they have a lot to gain. Whereas Kinguin really, I mean, they're already in the relegation spot. As you said, even if they win this, they're still going to be down at the bottom of the board. So it's important that they do, but for Kinguin, it's a mere stepping stone to potentially more success.
Yeah.
Whereas EnVy, it's for them, it would just be going from strength to strength. They'd move up from the middle into the top 4 potentially if they pick both of these up. So there's a lot on the line for both of these teams. It is vital that they go ahead and get it. And there we go. That was the coach connecting and subsequently dying. But yeah, I feel like we committed to the nature joke a little too much, and we just had to keep going.
It's true. We're locked in there.
Oh, and here we go. The freeze time pause has been cancelled, and that means the pistol round finally going to get underway, albeit a little bit later than we both expected. And now, for real this time, we're going to be getting into the pistol round.
The games begin. We will be kicking things off. You can see XMS will be going for one flashbang and a smoke. The rest of his teammates going for the armor buy, of course. Scream, he does have that P250 out there, so we're seeing if he can pop off some heads close range. Furlan will go for the initial peek, though. Harry pops out towards mid. Small bit of information, just a tidbit, but nothing too much, as he does start to fall back for the meantime.
Yeah, right now EnVyUs taking things slowly. You can see the other players towards the bottom of Banana, but it's actually Sixer with the bomb, joined by XMS, making their way over towards Apps to try and spot some success over towards this A site. And currently, well, there are 3 players here to try and hold them back and stop exactly that. And actually, it really looks like Mo's going to be rotating off of that B site to rejoin the rest of his teammates over here towards A, playing the floating role in CT, already expecting this aggression. And it is well read by Team Kinguin.
Ready and waiting. They are going to be bending, but no signs of breaking just yet. Rallen up close and personal, though. He will be that first point of contact. They try and flood their way out. Can he take them down? Connection. A couple of body shots going his way, but no real frags. Furlan will kick it off in the end, though. Takes down Scream. Sixer and XMS starts to respond. Mouse comes in with one of his own. They're going blow for blow right now, but it finally starts to look good for EnVyUs as they begin to execute the opposition. RPK goes down, though, and it's just Happy on 1 HP and Sixer left on 40. They are got themselves some afterplants, so can they hold this?
Yeah, Crossfire is going to be set up, but it's not ideal. And actually, Mass will be trying to make his way on down. Mihu's there as well, rotating around. And he's spotted out by Sixer, who tries to chain these shots in, but he can't quite connect. Saying that, down goes Mihu, and it is all on Maz. 1v2. Bomb's ticking away. He's got to be quick onto the site. And Happy going to take his head clean off. The Crossfire there are going to be worth its weight in gold, as it does allow EnVyUs to secure that 2v2 hold. The retake couldn't come in from Kinguin, and ultimately, that does mean they secured themselves the pistol round. They're going to be trying to pick up the anti-ecos now. We can see SMGs, just a plethora of them. UMPs, a couple of Mac Daddies as well in the form of Scream, Happy, and Sixer. As they take a little bit of a gamble, going to be going 3 Mac 10s. Kinguin, however, don't force buy all in all behind this. So actually, those Mac 10s going to be able to farm up a nice bit of cash.
Yep, that's going to be absolutely golden from the stars of the line. They can just tear their way through, much like this. Sixer towards mid will find the opening frag back on towards Sparrow. The push comes in there, but Furlan, hiding by quad, will be able to get an opener of his own. Does execute Scream, bringing it back into a little bit more of a manageable situation, but you can't imagine they're going to achieve too much. Miku is on Speedway, but now he is down and out. XMS with a fantastic little headshot coming through. These SMGs are picking up all the frags so easily as well. This is just a great cash builder of a round for EnVyUs. Just how they want it to go. Obviously, you do lose Scream, but that's actually not too bad overall.
Yeah, they make a lot of money, keeping 4 players alive as well, even when they go for that SMG buy. Them mostly Mac 10s as well, UMPs, very little invested from them, and a lot of money gained. I imagine we're going to see Scream actually just going to stick with the P250 as no one opts to upgrade just yet, still keeping these SMGs to continue mopping up cash. And well, Rad's going to be trying to slam dunk down mid, and oh, okay, not going to be taking up basketball anytime soon. Does do some damage on a Happy, but ultimately not enough, as the bomb now making its way up through Banana. 3 players here with a 4th coming on round in the form of Sixer. There are, however, 4 players for Kinguin stacked up on this B site. And EnVy haven't gone B yet, so they've just gone for the gamble here. And it might pay off, as now the bomb's making its way on in. They've got a player on CT. It's going to be smoked off. RPK does find the first on the Sparrow, but now picking up the top. Going to try and line this up. And oh, he misses a lot of shots. It's going to be Mihu to get 2 with this USP. Looking for a third. And RPK missing shots left and right. Finally finds the frag. It is all on Rowland. 1v3. Bomb isn't down just yet, but they've got full control of the site.
This peak round, though, finds the first man out. Will take down Happy, but there's a response frag in the end. Sixer to find the kill. Rack up the last bit of cash. The final few dribs to work their way through. That's all 3 of the rounds secured by EnVyUs off the back of a pistol round win, as you would expect. The AK buys now come into effect as well. The Kalashnikovs have been shipped. Seems like Sixer is opting to stick with a Mac 10 though. Going to ride his way throughout into this round. No real reason to invest into that up just yet on the T side if he did want to work towards that. And you can see RPK as well sticking with the UMP, a weapon that still does do a lot of damage into these 4-buy rounds. Team Kinguin though, investment galore all across the board. Everyone will go for those M4 buys. No AWPs on the prowl though. All out aggression towards mid it seems though. They'll be able to smoke off, quad push their way through. The arch smoke does come in, but it's a little bit too late. Sixer, he's allowed to just glide his way through like an acrobat, find the opening kill, but finally the trade starts to come back into effect. Furlan, complete control as he finds these easy kills.
Yeah, now the push down Banana. RPK is going to be here to shut this down. Smoke will be there, so that's going to render him null and void. And ultimately, right now we see Kinguin in the driving seat. Bomb's going to be down over there towards A. over by Arch. Scream is within earshot, but still has a lot of frags left to find before he can collect this bomb, and Sparrow's just honing his sights, watching it. Now, I don't know if they know Scream's there just yet, and actually he's going to be able to pick that bomb up. Now looking to just fade away, and it might get spotted in from Speedway, but for the time being, he's been allowed to escape. So they do have the bomb, and okay, Scream going to take a head clean off. Down goes Sparrow. It's into a 3-on-3. Scream, the beast, could be just waking up here. And actually, as it starts to rear its ugly head now, making its way down through short, spots out another foul, and going to bite the dust back into a 2-on-2 as the trade does come through. RPK going to be the first to go down for Envy, but still, bomb will get planted. Mihu, the only player with an earshot, trying to do what he can to deny this. Does do some damage downrange on a Happy, but ultimately just falls on back. Waits for Mouse to rotate on round. Now they're going to try and retake together. Both players in towards Pit. Scream peeks out. His head could be more than visible, but he's still doing a lot of damage. Finds himself a third and a fourth. There's Scream. Okay. This is why they call him the headshot machine.
It's true. This is what we were talking about as well, that individual prowess, the factor behind EnVyUs that is Scream. He's an absolute machine by name and lives for that in terms of how he displays it as well in-game. Rips his way through. Fantastic run comes out. A quad kill for him. Headshots galore. And that resets Kinguin as well. They finally had enough cash to play with. They invest heavily into that one, but all-out domination comes their way. Now left with just a couple of measly pistol buys as well. Sure, they've got the Deagles and the CZs. They didn't find that much success with them last time, though. We did see one kill coming out over towards the A-bomb site, but that was about it. EnVyUs as well, they're going to play it smart. They know they have the range advantage. Situate yourself further back, hold those angles, wait for the peaks to come to you. You don't need to overextend and potentially give your life away for nothing.
Yeah, Mouse going to do the exact opposite, actually taking Happy down now. Relinquishes back into the site, into its relative safety. And does get spotted out by RPK jumping up on top of the boxes. But luckily enough, he's going to have Mihu there just to lay down covering fire. And actually he's going to lay down a little bit more than that as he lays down the lore. RPK going to taste the full brunt of that Deagle round. Will be going down. 5-on-3 ensues, and that bomb still over towards A. Sixer and XMS. Trying to guard this, and actually, Scream wants to try and equalize this out over towards B. He's determined to pick this up, but Mihu peeks out with the Deagle, going to do that much more damage. And now Scream going to look to fall on back. XMS and Sixer with the bomb. The dynamic duo over towards this A site, trying to lock it down, but there's 3 players here to deny this.
They do have these angles in play. Up close and personal, they will be able to catch them off guard if they can actually get the information early. Rowland, unfortunately, has been sniffed out. They've located him and taken him down as well. Now the onslaught comes through. They push upon the site, trying to overwhelm everyone there as they explode their way out. But the pistols reign supreme somehow. Kinguin actually pick it up. The CZs overpower them. Sparrow with a headshot as well with that Deagle. And they pick up a round they didn't have a chance in. They had no stake into that. All of a sudden, though, they get invigorated. They close it down. And this really puts them in such a good spot as well. The AWP can be brought up over on Sparrow. This is going to be crazy now. This gives them so much to work with here.
Yeah, they shouldn't have picked that one up. Sparrow is going to have the AWP in hand, as you say, and he's already going to be taking that. Looks like over towards Apps. Probably going to be peeking out and actually going to just opt to take the aggression right now as Bomb is working its way up towards Apps. It's going to be a good read. As you can see, it's into XMS and Sixer once again. The 2 tasks for trying to get this bomb down, making their way towards Apps, and Sparrow is positioned diligently to shut this down. Aggression on towards Banana elsewhere is Mouse and Mihu both going to try and force the issue. Will have to fall on back. And that's because Envy, they're not going to give up banana control just yet. Now Sparrow, this is where he's going to have to come into play. They go for the peak and he just finds that first. Down goes Sixer, now going to fall on back, secures the opening kill, gets the man advantage, and now just retreats into the safety of Pit.
So critical as well. You can see they wanted to go for more of a fast play, try and respond with a very aggressive hit over towards the A-bomb site early, try and take that balcony control. It's instantly been responded to. They've slowed them down, they've had to readjust now. Focusing their assets over towards Quad and Arch though, hoping they can try and slip their way through. Scream as well going to be setting up with that smoke that will fly over, allowing them to block up a couple of lines of sight here as they go for the timed face. But Furlan does one better. He uses his own initiative, pushes his way into apartments, finds the opening kill. Sparrow another with the AWP until he finally gets picked off by RPK that starts to rain death all over the place, comes in with a headshots. Scream also back on form, will connect another one, takes down Rallon. The bomb has been planted. Does he spot out the man close by though? Unfortunately not. Miku, too fast and too furious, will be able to swipe him down with that M4. Defuse comes through as well, and Kinguin unfortunately keep these rounds going. EnVyUs, that's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah, now the bomb plant could justify forcing up behind these couple of players that have enough money. I mean, Sixer's got so much, he can actually afford to drop the AWP over or go for an AK drop. And, you know, with that much money in the bank, we are going to be seeing a couple of these players definitely forced by down to at least $2 grand anyway, and that does look to be the case. Tech9's in armor across the board, and actually Happy's going to have himself an AK, so they go for a bit of a quasi-buy, a little bit risky, trying to make this pay off. Well, let's see if it does. I mean, Kinguin, they have got 2 consecutively. EnVyUs are going to try and do the damage, keep that money low, and try to take them down a notch before they can get too much. And Sixer already going aggressive, rolling going to peek out wide as they line up for him. Scream going to help out, drop Sixer out the equation, and then he's going to fall himself into a 2-on-5, courtesy of Scream, Happy, and RPK. The 2 players left alive. Bombs down over towards mid, out in the open as well. They've already rotated a player around. 4 players now over towards A, just watching for the push out through mid. And RPK, well, he's all on his lonesome over towards B, dueling eternally against Mouse.
Now his apartment right now, as he slips his way over towards Boiler. Just going to be peeking out, trying to spot these angles, hoping that Kinguin might throw away their lead a little bit, try and go for an information play or something to allow EnVyUs to at least get a frag on the board. Happy, though. He realizes he has to make all the moves. Does spot out Sparrow. Does some damage, but it's not enough. Sparrow was too quick. Will swipe him down. RPK as well. Finally peeks, but does not believe his eyes when he sees Mouse in front of him, ready to rip into him with that Kalashnikov. And EnVyUs do fall. That is another round for Kinguin now. 3 on the trot. They're looking good, but the buy will come back into effect. EnVyUs had money to play with. The only man that will actually be skimping his way through is going to be Happy. He went for the AK buy into the previous round. He'll just have a Tech9 to play with. A weapon that still can be damaging, though, if they push into your up-close and personal safety zone. That's where he's going to be trying to fight back at that point. Let's see what EnVyUs can bring to the table here. Sparrow with the initial peek over towards mid. Will he spot anyone out? Does see a head. Very close, Harry, but just off to the left.
Yeah, it does get denied the opening frag, and now we can see Happy overstaying his welcome a little bit in mid. Does peek on out, but luckily enough for him, the immediate threat that is Sparrow has actually decided to fall on back, and looks like he's going to make his way over towards the B site. Perhaps I know something we don't. It looks like they might be switching out Sparrow with me, who is, you know, like to make his way over here towards this A site. Everyone over towards Apps, with the exception of RPK, who looks to make his way up through the bottom of mid, watching the aggression down Banana early on. And you can already see, because of where Sparrow is with the AWP now, they've actually been able to rotate Mouse around. As a result, there's 4 players over here towards A. And Envy, they're going to be walking into a stack if they go into this without getting the proper information. And as they make their way out mid, little do they know it, there are 4 players here to hold back the tide that is EnVyUs.
A lot of map control has been taken by that EnVyUs side there. They've been able to encroach their way heavily into what is owned by the side of Kinguin. Rallen, though, he's been at that forefront multiple times. He is getting the information, but look at this. They have tried to back off a little bit. It seems to have been some kind of a lampoon going on as they slip their way over back towards B, but Sparrow is there. He has the ankle cover. The AWP is in play. He's going to spot them out, but he misses the critical opener. He needed to connect that to try and slow them down at least. A rotate has to come through as well. Miles quick on his toes as he repositions over, but it's all been an elaborate ruse once again. They switch things up, they muddle it up, and they take their play towards the A bomb site. Can they actually find the openers, though, as they flood their way free? Miku goes for the first phase, but unfortunately loses his head. Scream will overpower him. Another kill comes in, but this time it's on the CT side as Rallen and Furlan start to connect their bullets. Rallen, another kill going his way before RPK starts to respond. He responds as hugely as he finds those 2 kills. Very easy. So much prowess on display there. The bomb can go down as well. It's a good situation to be in for the side of EnVyUs.
Yeah, Scream is tagged down low. Sparrow and Mouse both making their way on round. Sparrow coming in from mid with the AWP, has a lot of angles to check here. The only downside is no one's actually pushed up over towards Apps. Instead, it's RPK watching the initial push around the corner. He's just going to look away at the wrong time. As a result, Sparrow finds that first. It's all on Scream. He's going to get 1. Now going to get a second.
Oh.
Okay, Sparrow going to beat Scream at his own game. Takes his head off. And that's going to be Kinguin to find themselves a 4th round. 4-4. They do win out that 2-on-2 retake, thanks to the clutch coming in from Sparrow, who gets both of the necessary frags in order for them to come out on top. They find themselves the equalizing round, and now they look to try and take even more. The money's going to be building up over on the CT side, not EnVyUs. While they've gone all in, very little money left, means that a bomb plant and a round win would be crucial into this one.
They really need to try and step things up here coming into this. It has to be a difference maker now. They can't allow these easy rounds to just slip away from them. All-out aggression is in the display, though. They're taking control towards top second mid now, slipping through. Once again, they want to try and burst their way out through Arch, try and hit the A-bomb site very easily. Furlan is there to respond, though. Molotov goes down, but he's now finally as well that XMS had pushed in. His teammate in the rear can find the kill. They try and take that Apps control. Happy peeking out over by balcony whilst his teammates do work on the ground. Furlan will be eliminated. Mouse has to rotate over as well to try and aid them. But this A-bomb site is taking a very heavy hit.
Yeah, but the bomb did go down very early on, and as a result, Kinguin, they've rotated everyone round over here towards A because they saw the bomb got dropped down over towards middle. And as a result, it's going to make getting into this A site a hell of a lot harder. Out peeks out Maz, down goes Sixer. He's looking for a little bit more, but instead it's Scream to trade things out. With another headshot there. Not looking to ruin that percentage anytime soon. 3-on-3 ensues. Raleigh going to be peeking out from short, and he's just a thorn in their side right now. Going to get himself a second, falling on back. Scream will falter. No trade in sight just yet from RPK, saying that he's going to get it. The order of the day, going to get both actually. Give him an inch and he'll take a mile as he finds himself with the necessary entries to secure this A site. It's all on Mihu. 1v2. Happy going to be getting that bomb down, and Mihu over towards Arch now, peeking on out. There is a smoke allowing this presence for the time being. RPK going to try and peek around it, but he will pay for that with his life. It's all on Happy. 1v1. Kinguin looking to try and pull this back for the realms of defeat, and Mihu's going to do just that. Gets both the necessary frags, and will be able to defuse that bomb. Meaning Kinguin, they find themselves with a 1-round lead, and EnVyUs going to be on the back foot.
This is crazy now. Really great stuff being on display from Kinguin. This is what they need to try and bring to the table here as well. So many rounds strung together at this point. 5 rounds back to back. EnVyUs. They looked good when they came into it early on. We saw them pick out that pistol round, and then a damaged economy that was weakened. It was stunted on the side of Kinguin. They had no answer to respond. Into the first buy round, they slipped. They made mistakes, and it allowed EnVyUs to actually lock it down. But since then, it's been a completely different story. Kinguin, back to back since they won that force buy round. This is what we need to see from them as well. If they have any chance of picking this up, they need to have a very, very predominant performance over on that CT half. They can't have a lackluster one. And they're showing us that they do have the means to try and lock it down right now. Scream, though, with the information play early. Taking control of second mid, slipped his way in towards Apt. He's swanning around in there, checking the rooms, clearing the angles. But you can see Kinguin, they're looking a little bit more timid into this. They've had to back off very early on, falling into these further back angles, as they know that EnVyUs are playing aggressive into the early game.
Yeah, but still, I like what they're doing with Sparrow right now. They have him rotating back over towards B early on and watch out for any sort of rush. And then if they don't hear anything, he does reposition over towards Arch. Sometimes we see him get swapped out with Mihu, but EnVy, they're going to be making their way out in towards mid. Trying to seize control of Boiler. Scream going to be lining up this smoke to allow safe passage out towards the Arch side. Going to pop flash himself through. Doesn't capitalize on it just yet. Instead, going to make Sparrow wait for it. Playing with his food. And they're committed to this A site once again. I mean, Bomb's very far in. They can still rotate round. 50 seconds left. And as Ralin finds that first, it wouldn't surprise me if we perhaps see them instead double back in through mid. XMS pushing on up. And the Scream finds those frags. Never mind. He's gained so much presence over towards short. Just lines them up, knocks them down. RPK to get the next. This A site in the blink of an eye going to be crawling with EnVyUs. And now all of a sudden, Mouse and Mihu, they find themselves locked in this 2v4. They just want to fall on back. Don't want to risk going for this money over on the side of Kinguin. Whilst it has been given a lot of chance to build up, they have had a couple of rounds with only having 1 or 2 players survive, so it's not going to be great. Saving these 2 M4s really dampens the cost into the next round. As we can see, the money's very unequal. Sparrow's got plenty. Mouse is going to have a nice bit, but Furlan and Ralin, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, so saving up these 2 M4s is going to be a necessity if they want to buy up into the next round. EnVyUs, they will find themselves their equalizer at 5-5 as they bite straight back.
That's the thing. Even though they've been picking up rounds, they've been losing so many members every one that, as you said, they're going to need to try and hold on to these weapons to give them anything really to play with. It has to rely on Mouse and Miku sort of working their way through into these later rounds as well, as there still is going to be a very, very stunted economy across the board. They have been able to get the AWP out over on Sparrow, though, and distribute things to a fairly decent factor. It's only really going to be Furlan that's taking a bit of a hit. Meanwhile, over on the EnVyUs camp, everyone is onto the teeth. They are looking good. But this is the thing. We've only seen them take that aggression towards the A-bomb site. It's been looking good round and round out. The only round we actually saw them take that B play was when they first lost that anti-eco, where it really didn't go their way. It all went sour. They found such an easy leak in towards the A-bomb site through apartments. They know how to overpower their way through balcony. They can take quad control very effectively. And Kinguin, they need to try and switch things up. You can see now as well, they're not playing as further back. They have actually taken the aggression a little bit more forward. Sparrow watching a very cheeky angle with the AWP, hoping to see if they are going to try and take that apps control. He will dispatch them if they take the fight through Boiler if he's quick enough. But this is the thing. Look at the aggressive stance they've gone for. Early mid-smoke goes in. You hold quad and arch very up close and personal. It's different, and it could be what they need to actually slow them down.
Oh, Sparrow did spot someone there peeking on out. He knows there's at least 1 player over towards apps. There's actually 3. Quite gauging how bad this is. And actually, now they're going to be falling on back. They go ahead and grab the bomb. Still have a player to push out through apps, but at this point, with how they've decided to go towards mid, it looks like they're making their way up, trying to grab control of short once again. And that's exactly what they're going to get. No one here to challenge them from Boiler. They get it, and now it looks like they're still within the rounds where they could fall on back. I mean, they've got 45 seconds left to play around with. They're not dedicated to this A site as much as they are normally, and now we're going to be seeing that bomb tossed over to Happy. who is making his way back over towards Banana. The rest of the team exerting pressure out towards Long, and now they're going to sneak up the Arch on towards Speedway. Sparrow's got to rotate back around in towards CD to watch for this as they split in towards the B site. And okay, they're just going to jump across a conga line of death, crossing through the scope of Sparrow, but he can't capitalize. Instead, he does go down. Six are going to find that, but the trade does come in from Furlan. Back into a 4-on-4. But this B site, it's going to be tricky to hold down. Mihu gets one. He's got to rely on his teammate, though. Maz can't do anything. Mihu does get a second. Swiftly traded out by RPK as we divulge back into a 2-on-2. Bomb's going to go down, planted for Banana. But with neither Scream or RPK in position to deal with that, it's going to be raw aim to carry them through. Scream's going to be the man to provide just that. Down goes Furlan. It's all on Rowland to retake this site.
A very hard feat for the man. Does have 2 flashbangs to play with. Unfortunately, no kit. That's the important factor, really. That's what he needed to give him some kind of lifeline into this round. It's going to be a struggle. So many angles to clear as well in this 1 versus 2. He can't just swan his way on. He's hoping to see if they're going to peak his time. He's getting so close to being gone, hoping that RPK or someone will face into his crosshair, allow him to at least do some damage to the economy of EnVyUs. But his calls will not be answered. Forced to fall back. Now EnVyUs will get that 6th round on the board. Very, very nicely done as they work their way through. Saving both of those rifles as well. RPK, 2 HP, but he does stay alive. Fly's coming back into effect now as well. Kinguin, absolutely broken in terms of economy. It's just going to be Rowland. He's the only one that was able to hold on to his M4. Keep his hands on that rifle. The all-important one it is as well, because he needs to use it into this round. He has to do something here. If Kinguin don't want to let this one slip for free, he's got to be the answer to their prayers.
Yeah, they want to at least make it costly. And well, they are going to be going for the aggression towards Banana early on. 3 players here, and actually Rowland peeking out, finds that first. Swiftly traded out though by Sixer and RPK as they lock down the aggression in towards top mid. Already the M4 going to be dropped. It only finds 1 solitary frag. And with where the rest of Team Kinguin are, they're not in a great position to try and pick it up. Instead, they're going to be at the full mercy of RPK. It's just like a shooting gallery for him. But okay, all headshots. Scream Jr. apparently over on the side of EnVyUs, as he nets those eco frags to pad those stats, try to overtake Scream in the headshot percentage department, and most importantly, they only lose 1 player in a round that could have been potentially very costly.
Yeah, the armor-piercing shell has been loaded into the RPK tank there as he just tears his way through. That's huge. This is what you want to see as well. Vintage RPK, rolling back the yours towards, you know, his source days. We need more of this. He was an absolute powerhouse back then, and he's really been living up to that older name now as we work our way through. It's just the lifeline that EnVyUs needs to try and tear their way back into this. They need to have a dominant performance here. Really leave Kinguin nothing to play with over on their T-half. The first frag will go their way as well. XMS will be able to take down Furlan. Sixer is low though. Furlan trying to respond, goes for a pot shot, fires towards Arch to ward them off, hoping he can slow them down. And he's done just that. Flashbangs will go over. They're going to use this to their advantage, hoping that they still think it will be a commit towards the A-bomb site. They've left the welcome mat down over at B. They're allowed to come in and wipe their dirty feet all over the place if they have the confidence to take the fight.
Yeah, and then what we're seeing now, this EnVyUs, they're capitalizing on the fact that they know Kinguin are very wary of this A play. They've left Sparrow on his own over towards B, and as the smoke and flash rain on in, he will be forced out the site. It's going to be a 4-on-5, and already it's looking like they're going to elect to save this one. That B site's going to crumble. They rotate everyone over towards A. They've got the Thorn in their side, which is going to be happy, just lurking in the backlines, preventing any sort of efficient rotate in through mid. And so they're just going to save up all 4 rifles, go at it again in the next round. That's going to allow EnVy to pick themselves up an 8th. They can potentially keep all 5 players alive, but their money's doing A-OK. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be Kinguin who feel the brunt of the economy much worse than them. So we might even see Happy elect to go hunting in towards this A site. And, well, I mean, yeah, what we're seeing now is EnVyUs. They've had a bit of a reputation, as you said, for hitting that A site time and time again. They worked it out. By the time Kinguin finally adapted, it was a very good read from Happy. He instantly switched things up. And instead, they elect to go in through CT, split on towards that B site. And since then, it's added an air of ambiguity behind the plays that we've seen EnVyUs elect to go for. And it's kind of left Kinguin doubting themselves a little bit. I mean, you saw in that round, they completely rotate everyone off B with the exception of Sparrow. He gets caught kind of mid-rotate in towards CT, and that's where they get punished. It's a singular smoke, and that B site is all theirs, ripe for the taking. And already, they're going to find themselves 3 rounds ahead.
That's the thing, it's so easy at that point. There's so many seeds of doubt planted in the mind of Kinguin. They basically have to over-rotate because that B site has only been hit 1 time prior to this. It's always been aggression towards their bomb sites, but lots of mind games there as well. They expected that it'd be the same old story, but it wasn't. It was a trick. It was an elaborate ruse. It has gone the way that EnVyUs wanted it to. Now back into the action once again, though. Kinguin, not the best buy. 2 SMGs on display. Obviously, they can pack a punch, though, especially when you have the drop on the opposition. Rylan takes down one, but unfortunately, XMS will be able to catch him as he wanted to run out there with a tail between his legs. Sparrow with the response frag, though, peeks in, says hello as he beats down XMX. Will be able to eliminate him very easily. Repositioning as well. He's taking the aggression to his advantage, eliminates RPK, but doesn't realize that Happy has been able to brush through undetected. He slipped into the backline now. This man could really start to cause a riot if he can find the frags. Connects the headshot back on towards Furlan as well. This is good. He's starting to tear them apart from the backline. Miku, though, will spot him out and hopes to do just the same. He slowed them down. Sparrow is there. Happy finds the kill, though. It has not gone the way that Kinguin wanted it to. Leaves him to 2 versus 2, but it's such high stakes.
Yeah, bomb hasn't gone down just yet. It's going to be on the back of Sixer, who's trying to cross to the site, but Sparrow's got the angle locked down. Going to be tossing that across to Happy, who now can get the bomb planted. Sparrow Mouse going to find themselves 2-on-2. Bomb will go down. The crossfire set up between pit and site. And actually, Sparrow going to be the first to fall. It is all on Mouse. 1 versus 2 coming in from Arch. They know exactly where he is. And with only an 8 to his name, he's just going to fall on back. Elect to save the M4 into the last round of the half. That'll be EnVyUs to find themselves a 9th. Kinguin trailing behind on their CT side. They got to try and pick this up. They need themselves a 6th if they want to have that kind of commandeering, not commandeering, but a strong chance into the second half at least. I mean, I would already be kind of leaning the way of Envy. It's essential that they try and get as many rounds as they can. And letting this one slip through the net, despite having 2 very convincing kills coming in from Sparrow with the AWP, it's a bit of an issue for them now. EnVyUs do just seem to have them figured out.
Yeah, that's the thing. EnVyUs, they've got their number. They know where they're hiding. They know how to play against them, and they're playing smart. That's the thing. Early, we just saw brute force. That was how they were able to overpower them. Now it's a lot more mind games. They're countering it. But Kinguin, they're going to try a different approach. They're going to try and switch things up, get the double AWP set up in play. Maybe the extra bit of leverage, the extra AWP can allow them to at least do something. They might be able to get a couple of early frags on the board and turn the tide. But it's all ifs and buts at this point. So let's see if they will actually find the frags. Aggression, once again, the same old story. EnVyUs, they tiptoe their way up second mid. Slow aggression through apps. The smokes go over. They take that mid control a little bit into the mid round. And that's where Kinguin need to utilize this double AWP setup. Sparrow, situated over by Arch. Previous rounds, he's been able to find those opening kills. He needs to do it again this time. If he can get that first pick on the board, Harry, that's where it really slows everything down and throws a huge fall on the side of EnVyUs.
Yeah, Rowling going to be peeking on out, though. Actually, the player to try and kickstart this will falter. XMS finds himself an opener, and as though they didn't need any more advantages, they get handed one on a silver platter. They're going to take that man advantage in their stride. And Miku over towards Banana. Him being here at least does allow him to have that extra player over towards A. So they still find themselves with 3 on this A site, which is kind of the standard amount of players you would expect to see. Bomb still making its way on in. They're not showing any signs of rotating back just yet. Furlan and Pip as on site with the crossfire set up, and Sparrow to watch the aggression out through mid. Here we go, push coming out into Raps. Mao's going to get the first. XMS will fall. They have to watch out for Furlan. The crossfire's going to be set up, and it does work out brilliantly as Furlan and Mao, they shut things down. 5 frags between the 2 of them, and that'll be that 9-6. And that is going to be the end of the first half. We'll be back after a very quick break.
Hello everyone, welcome back. An exciting first half. It was interesting, obviously, EnVyUs. A good opener, it looked good, then things went south for them. Kinguin started to lock it down, and the same could be said for them as well. They knew how to counter it, right? Because EnVyUs were playing a very similar style, instantly they bounced back, and then it just turns to the EnVyUs show towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what we kind of see is EnVyUs getting the feel for things early on. It looked like, you know, they try to figure out the setup of Kinguin. Kinguin very, very quick to respond to that and then net themselves their couple in a row. They actually end up taking the lead at one point in time. And then EnVyUs, they go ahead and pound straight back. Don't want to allow them to get too far ahead on that CT side. And all in all, I think it was a very good anti-stratting on their behalf. I mean, they were able to figure things out down to a T. And once the kind of that seed of doubt was planted, as you said, it created a lot of issues from then on in. The repercussions felt over a number of rounds, not just kind of the main turning point, which was when we saw EnVyUs go for that split in through CT, down speedway and towards the B site. And from that point on, you could just see there was a lot of doubt in what Kinguin were doing. They didn't look as confident. They weren't, you know, putting Sparrow over towards B early on as they had been previously. Something that was working out for them. It allowed them to, you know, very much neglect that B site a lot more. They could only have one player there and get away with it. But that wasn't the case towards the end. They had to constantly keep two over towards that B site and just gamble. That's what it felt like, 50-50 whether or not they'd even pick the round up. But we will be heading into the second half. The pistol round is going to be underway.
A big one as well as EnVyUs. They have a chance now to really set themselves up, get the stars aligned, and lock down so many rounds if they can pick up this opener. Kinguin, though, going to take the slow approach. They're going to group up. Seem like they're going to be going for a contact play. What could be working their way for apartments, then jump back through. They actually find the opening frags, though. Mouse going to be able to take down RPK. This is huge. They can swarm their way on towards the bomb site. Now, Scream is in position, but he doesn't realize from the sidelines it is going to be Furlan to start to beat them down. 2 easy frags going his way, and he is hungry for more as well. Takes the aggression out, and there's Happy. Trying to cool off the situation, brings in 1 kill over on towards Rallen. Will slow them down a little bit whilst his teammate repositions as well. XMX and Happy, the duo, are in position. But can they retake this? It's going to be a hard fight. They do connect the headshots though. Miku will be eliminated.
Yeah, both coming in from the same angle though. Does mean that Kinguin only have one spot to watch. And with time being whittled down, it's going to be a real issue. Okay, XMS just going to be connecting these quick shots left and right. It's all on Happy. 1v2 as the trade does come through. Bomb still ticking away, and he's going to be very, very short on time. Got to quickly execute both these players. Going to get one as Furlan offers himself up to Happy. But then there's Sparrow to trade things out. 7-9. Kinguin, they pick themselves up the pistol. And a lot of respect given the way of EnVyUs. 4 rifles in play and a UMP on Rallen.
UMP there. Can be very effective as well. Obviously into this round, he's going to be the cash builder. He's the one they want to use more of a scouting role. Send him in, allow him to get those opening frags on the board. Potentially, he can rack up so much cash with this weapon. You imagine though, Kinguin are going to play this slow, set themselves up in a nice, rather distant situation, find the frags if EnVyUs go for an aggressive play, which they are doing. They're pushing their way through. Miku and Miles will connect the headshots as well. RPK taking down Sixer to follow boot. There's XMS as well, going to get railed down and executed by the side of Team Kinguin. Scream though, let's fight back a little bit. 2 50 frags actually come his way, but it looks like now should be the end. An easy frag should be going the way of Kinguin. They lock it down the end. They do lose 2 players though. Not the worst round for the side of EnVyUs, but Kinguin 1 round away. If they lock this down, they will be on a 9-9 scoreline and set themselves up to try and really give it their all in this T-half.
Now, Sparrow going to be picking up the Mac 10 to try and make some money. Seeing as, you know, EnVyUs did force it in the last round, they're going to have very little into this. USPs for the most part across the board. Scream going to be picking up a P250, which I do feel like is more than justified, seeing as the damage we saw him deal in that previous round. And actually 4 players over towards this B site. A solo over towards 8. Bomb of Happy, and now actually the peak going to be coming on in. Sparrow looking to get a little bit curious as he waits with bated breath on the corner. Now peeking on out. Doesn't spot anyone right away, but he knows that EnVy are going to have a couple of players posted up here. 6 going to take the peak. Sparrow with the Mac 10, chiming in with 1. Railing Death down range. Going to be spotted out at the full mercy of these USPs. RPK does get that one at least. Furlan going to burn in the fire a bit. A little bit startled, don't worry. It's hot, it's firing, it's not very nice to the touch. He's going to be tagged down low from RPK. He's looking to try and get himself a second with this USP. Instead, a different member of Kinguin going to be peeking out around the corner. Okay, Mao's going to go down as well. Damage done with the USPs. It's all unhappy 1v3. And if he can find that frag onto the low HP Furlan, then damage they have done with a very, very weak buy nonetheless.
Yeah, they've done good as they work their way through this round. Good stuff. They will have that 9-9 scoreline secured as well, and Happy hoping to do something at least. I mean, he's not really invested anything to this round. He has the taser, so potential if someone wants to push out and exit their way through into CT spawn, he might actually catch them off guard. Unlikely, but worth him running this risk because he's not really too bothered. He hasn't invested anything into it and can try and cause some havoc here. We'll get the opening frag. Waiting for Miku to try and take the fight. Will peek with a taser. but unfortunately unable to actually connect the shot there on towards EnVyUs. There it is. Things have been tied up now. 9-9 is going to be the scoreline. This is where it gets real. The buys will be coming out. Kinguin, if they are able to keep this going, they're really going to start to get some fire behind them. They have those AKs. They have potential, but this is where they've been having issues. Their T side's been where they've been struggling throughout the past few matchups of Pro League, but is this where they break the chain?
Let's find out. 5 rifles in play. Plenty of utility from them early on, and actually, Sixer on this AWP. Now, this is something we spoke about in the pre-game a lot. The impact he's been able to have at 3 players over towards Banana, but it's not the AWP to find the first. Instead, it is XMS. Down goes Sparrow. No trade frag just yet. That Molotov going to isolate Furlin, who now starts to push on up. Smoke going to go down. It is in deep, and that's going to allow both Mouse and Furlin to be peeking out past it. They pop flash around the corner, but they don't capitalize on it just yet due to the molly to hold them back. Ralin and Mihu, meanwhile, over here towards A. Bombs just dropped very neutrally over towards mid. They haven't quite made up their mind just yet, and when you look how EnVy are playing this, they've got that floating player in CT in the form of Happy. He can go very, very quickly between B or A accordingly, and it's a confident way of playing. EnVy not short on confidence just yet. And it does look like he's thinking about perhaps rejoining his comrade over towards A, but no, he does make the right decision. Stays in CT, and it's a good read because the bomb looks like it's going to be making its way up Banana. Sixer with the AWP in hand to find the first. Furlin bites the dust, and already Kinguin, they've slowed down a little bit. They're not sure as they want to go for this 3-on-5.
Nades start to rain in towards that B-bomb site. They're in position as well. Regroup, assert themselves as a unit before they go for this aggressive attack, this explosion on towards that site. There is still only 2 men there, and it seems like there might be 1 shortly. They're doubting themselves a little bit, starting to back off, thinking that this is going to be a late round A execute, but it will be the B play. The nades roll in. This is the time. This is where either side needs to go absolutely huge. The push comes in. XMS up close and personal. We'll hear a couple of audio cues. The peek comes through, and he will be able to get the opening frag. Takes down Miku, but Mouse with the retaliation finds the kill back towards him. Hungry for more as well. Just in the nick of time, they get the bomb planted. And now they've got themselves in some good situations, but they're outnumbered vastly. Sure, they have the superior angle, but they can't really take the fight. They peek, and unfortunately for Ralin, Sixer had the AWP, had the angle covered, and will take him down. Mouse trapped at the back of sight, cowering in a corner. He'd have to do something crazy to pick this round up.
Now, got to ace it if they want to secure this one. Mouse going to be picking on out, just playing around the pillar. Gets the first, but now they know where he is, and he's going to be at the full mercy of Scream and Happy as they rail shots. Downwind, he will fall. And that is EnVy to find themselves a 10th. They reach double digits. They keep 3 players alive, and actually, the EQ is going to be a little bit close, but no, Scream will be able to get that one. Like I say, they find themselves now with double digits. An AWP saved. Plenty of money building up in their bank accounts as well. Still, Kinguin not going to be short on funds themselves as a result of picking up those first 3. Ralin, the player who was on the SMGs, will have plenty of money in his bank account. And while the buy down going to be coming on in, they are going to have another shot at redemption here to try and take EnVyUs down a peg before they can amount a scary CT side economy.
Yeah, they need to try and sand them down. Don't let that buffer get too out of hand, because that's the scary factor. If EnVyUs keep linking these rounds together, they're just going to get stronger and stronger. They need to break that economy early whilst it's still young, whilst it's brittle. The opening frags do actually go their way. Mouse the peak towards top Banana will be able to execute XMS. Does eliminate him and leaves him in a bit more of a manageable situation. You can see EnVyUs, though, they want to try and retaliate here. They're using aggression. They make their approach through. They won't actually go overly confident. Scream realizes this is probably a bit of a risky play, starts to back off. They already have a 1-man deficit. They don't want to make it any larger. Sixer, though, he is going to take the fight. He has the confidence behind him to go for the peak round. Hearing his way in towards Banana, trying to clear these angles. Will he spot out Furlan here? So close to being able to execute the man as he just waits, blissfully unaware of his location.
Now we're going to be seeing Kinguin rotate a couple of players around over towards Banana, looking like it is going to be the starting question. And Sparrow's been able to sneak on by in through CT. Happy is here. I don't think they're aware of this player over towards CT. Sparrow in the back line. Down goes Happy. This B site going to be right for the taking as no one's here. Scream and RPK find themselves alone over towards A. And they're just going to look to hold on to the AKs. Bomb will go down. 5 players alive for Kinguin. Means they're going to be walking away from this round with a smile on their faces. Plenty of money now being able to build up. Ralin, the only player in the firing line as he is over towards this A site and is in danger of running into Scream, someone that I wouldn't want to be walking into on my own. But RPK isn't in a great place to trade, and actually he's going to bypass Scream completely. Could pounce on out to RPK, who I believe thinks Apps is clear because that's where Scream was. They just miss each other though, and if he does peek on out RPK, get the full brunt of that, but instead they're just going to miss each other. If they can hold on to these AKs, it's going to be worth its weight in gold, but no, Ralling going to land that quick, fancy flick onto Scream. Down he goes. It's all on RPK. 1v5, looking to try and save the AK to the next round. 10-10 is Kinguin. They find themselves the equalizer, and most importantly, they find themselves with a round where they're able to build up a hell of a lot of money.
A huge round coming out there. Look at the three players as they work their way through. I mean, you can just see how easy some of these flicks were. Kinguin, this is what we're going to see as well. You know, we spoke about this in the pregame and how these players individually, the start of the season, everyone looked good. They looked back on form, what they needed to be bringing to the table, and then it just kind of stunted. It slowed down. They looked unoiled. They didn't look ready for the action, but now they look like they've been recommissioned. They're looking good. Everyone is fired up. You can see some of the flicks they've been displaying tonight have been unreal. Incredible prowess in terms of actual own individual strength, and this is what they need as well. Up against this side of EnVyUs, they have a good amount of team structure. Kinguin is the older team here out of the two. They've got more in their playbook. So if they can step up individually, that's when surely they should be closing things down. And they're starting to prove that as well. Now the aggression comes in though, encroaching once again towards that A bomb site into the early round. A lot more nade usage though this time around from Kinguin. They're really trying to draw out any potential cheeky angles in play from EnVyUs. Scream, you can see he loves to take this aggressive approach. He will push in towards apartments, try and make you peek into him. He will always take the fight towards you. Furlan just holding towards bottom banana as well. You can see everyone get a little bit hectic as they start to push down, as they have realized it's most likely going to be an A play. A mass rotate going over. Everyone's situated towards A now, just in the nick of time as well, as the T start to take that arch control. The kills do come in though. Sparrow connects the frag over towards Scream. RPK fires back. Mal's one of his own. But what can they do? These pistols in close range combat.
Go through the smoke. Happy going to emerge, and he will be swiftly dealt with by Furlan. Mal's going to find Sixer on the site, and it is all on XMS, who wants to try and make this a little bit more costly if he can. Potentially grab an AK and just fade away with. Furlan's going to be up close, though. The player to try and shut this down. Spots at XMS over towards Archie, takes the peek, does find the dink. The pistols aren't that overpowered, my friend. Doesn't quite get the kill. So that will be an 11-10 scoreline. Kinguin once again going to find themselves in the lead. And this first map a lot closer than I think we thought it would be.
It's true. We thought coming into this would be more of a whitewash towards the side of EnVyUs. You know, we expected they're going to come in dominantly, really lock it down. This was more of what we expected to be a benchmark matchup, just to see, you know, where sort of Kinguin stood overall now up against this side. But this is looking like round 12 being locked down as EnVyUs. Nothing to play with into this one. They are broken, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, they've got very little. 2 USPs, not looking good. Scream going to have the deagle, and he's looking to try and make it work as he does go aggressive over towards Apps. No one here to trade, though. In fact, he's over towards this A site alone. He's the Guardian of A. And he does pick up that first frag on a roll, and now going to try and pick up the AK, and no one's there to trade it out. So he does escape, not only with his life, but with a $2,700 7.62 rifle, which could be utilized to devastating effectiveness on a player like Scream. And well, in response, Kinguin, they're going to try and make the right move. They sent everyone up through Banana. They've already lost Ral into the aggression on A. As a result, they have no information what's going on over towards there. So instead, they just say, you know what, we know that Banana's looking pretty empty. Let's try B, because we have no clue where EnVyUs are over towards that A site.
Pigs coming in though. They try and pick at the same time, use this crossfire setup. Look at this. They've painted up the side of Kinguin. Everyone is low HP, but no real frags coming through. And that's the important factor. They needed to slow down that push to allow the teammates to retake the site. Instead, though, Sixer arrives on the scene, wants to cause a stir, but gets headshot in the back by Sparrow. Executes in there. That's not too fantastic, as they're left in such a horrible spot now as well. Happy, though, has an AK in his hands. He scavenged the one that fell off Rallen. If he can hold on to this Kalashnikov, it would be a great feat for them, allow them to have a bit more to play with into the following round, but he's hoping to get some exits as Pharrell wants to do one better than just save the weapon. But no one's going to be pushing his way just yet. They're holding their ground, playing it smart on the side of Kinguin. Seems like they should just exit together now, Banana, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to make that their priority. They already had Mihu go down there to check it was clear, and he, as a result, you know, he found out it was. He's going to instead be going in through CT, knowing that's where these players are. Happy will go down, and that was the gun that Scream was able to get tossed over to Happy, which he actually loses as a result of that aggression in towards CT spawn. So they lose the one rifle they had. The whole idea being that it wasn't something they necessarily needed because the money's already good. They just had it on Happy to try and do the damage. But the second he doesn't find anyone and just goes down, you know, to kind of the lurk coming in from Mihu to shut down that exact play, that's when it becomes not worth it. Scream only saves the armor and the deagle out of that round, but it will be the buy coming in nonetheless. XMS going to be relegated down to a FAMAS. Could have potentially been on an AK had they saved it up. Already Mouse are going to be at the full brunt of utility usage over towards Banana. Tag down low. Sparrow not looking too healthy either. So he gets some early damage himself. And now he'll be peeking on out, trying to take the duel on Banana for the first time in a long time. Envy actually exerting pressure here early on. But that could open up the door for Kinguin just to charge in towards this B site.
Early aggression on display as well. This has been really the key for Kinguin. They like to use this to their strength. Early fight, come through, find those opening kills on the board, work your way into it this time. And they take the play towards top Banana, just setting things up, making their presence known, going for a couple of pot shots here and there. But now they've backed off. EnVyUs as well, they're going to be questionable about this, wondering what was actually going on there with that early round play. They reposition towards the A-bomb site. They have an abundance of utility. They need to use this. 4 smokes in their possession. They have those in their arsenal. Use them. Block off those lines of sight. Completely eliminate Sixer, but instead they go for the fight. Sparrow will take the peek into an angle that Sixer can hold so well. They don't clear it as well. RPK peeks out. Will find one frag back on towards Furlan until he's traded out by Mouse. Already 2 players have been eliminated from the side of Kinguin. This is not a great start into the round. They needed to try and step things up. Miku as well. Another headshot goes his way until Sixer can retaliate, leaving it all on the man himself. Miku, he's on the bomb site. The bomb will be planted, Harry. But can he find this free K?
I mean, he's gone above and beyond this before. Let's see if he can clutch this out. 1v3, Bomb going to go down. He's actually going to try and take the aggression over towards Arch, clearing out the angle, but he's got to be worried about the player in Library as he walks into the waiting arms of Happy. Down he goes. He tries to go aggressive there, try to switch up his position, remain unpredictable so he wouldn't know where he was. But he doesn't anticipate Happy playing that passively over towards Library. He can hear the players rotating in through short. He knows that's where at least 2 of them are, but he doesn't know where the third is. And I think he imagined that they were going to go for the retake split in through short and apps. Didn't anticipate that player still being so far back in Library. So as a result, does go down. Doesn't find anything in the 1v3, but they do get the bomb down. There's plenty of money already, so buying will not be a problem here for Team Kinguin.
It's true indeed. They had an abundance of cash left in their buffer, so that can be utilised for this. Sparrow still on the AWP as well. We need to see that, as he can be a powerhouse. The only thing, taking that very defensive angle that is going to complement Sixer didn't work out too well. The aggression comes through though. Look at this, XMS, as he takes the fight, swans his way down Banana. An easy kill to kick it off as he connects the headshot back on towards Furlan. Already a 1-man deficit once again. In the battle of attrition, EnVyUs, they are always getting that opening frag. It's helped them so many rounds in a row now, as they can just play for trades from that point onwards. It's been fantastic for them. Kinguin, they need to be able to respond, and they really need to cause a ruckus here. Sparrow is going to try and take that fight once again towards Arch. This time, though, Sixer has been forced to fall back. But it seems like it has caused a bit of a stalemate here. The push coming in from Quad, though. Miku goes for the peek out, but cannot do the damage. Sixer, the reposition proves so critical as he eliminates another man.
Now, Bomb's actually rotated around towards Banana. Sparrow is going to be here along with Mouse. Ralin left over towards A as a bit of a lurk. Now rejoining the rest of his teammates over in towards this B site. XMS is here alone, looking to try and hold this back. 1v3 essentially over towards this B site, but with Sixer rotating around, he's already found one on the back of the AWP. He's proved to be an essential tool of success in order to find these openers. And well, here we go. Push going to be coming on in. Sixer watching the cross. He does know there's a player over towards Barbecue. Now going to be going aggressive. You know, towards Church, and XMS gets forced out courtesy of the Molotov, and he's going to burn in the flames. Does find one there before he perishes. And now Sixer trying to capitalize on his forward position. Ralin watching the angle as Sixer just crab walking around, has stopped for the time being, waiting for the rest of his teammates to get in a position. They find themselves 4-2, so there's no point giving this up, and especially as Sparrow finds RPK. Now Sixer rounds the corner to try and trade that out, but Ralin says no. Going to put it into a 2-on-2. Sparrow will fall to Scream, who apparently obstacles just don't exist to him. Finds a headshot there through the plywood. It's all on Ralin. 1v2 to try and clutch this out. He spots out one. Knows it Scream's there as well, but they just double peek. Happy and Scream lock it down. They find EnVyUs their 12th as they clutch out what was looking like it could have been a very easy retake for EnVyUs. Quickly becomes a lot more hazy and up in the air. It was all thanks to that one shot from Scream to kill Sparrow over towards the car. That ultimately, actually means that they are able to scavenge that round and pull it back from the brink of defeat.
It's true, completely changed the pace of the round and really is the difference maker. And overall as well, it's interesting to see now both teams once again tied up neck and neck. 12-12 across the board. It is scary to think we've got back to this. And the factor is as well, Sparrow, the cash simply will not allow him to get that AWP out. He's on the AK. Honestly, this could be a blessing in disguise though, as he's not done too much with the weapon on that T side. He's been taking aggressive angles, sure, but he's never been finding them. He's been getting swatted down time in, time out. With him back on the AK, they can play a little bit more Wolf-like, squad up, use their unit together, overpower EnVyUs with an aggressive play towards A. Use your smokes, but once again, Sparrow this time peeks with an AK towards Sixer, was trying to get that map control, instantly beaten over and over. Sixer has had so much arch control, and this completely ruins everything that Kinguin want to try and throw into the round.
Yeah, I mean, they can't get control of Arch. Now they've got to be constantly worried about the push coming in from XMS on Banana. That's why they've got Furl in there. And I mean, with 4 players over towards this A site, something EnVy have been doing time and time again, making their way into it's going to be next to impossible. They're already going to find themselves in an equal situation at best coming in towards this. And Scream and Pit, the crossfire setup from RPK, will go down. Happy, meanwhile, on the flank is able to find one. Sixer just lining them up, knocking them down. Going to get 2, and he's going to get the 3rd as well as he completes it. 4 in total, the hat-trick in on that initial push, and that's going to be EnVyUs to find themselves in the lead, 12-13. I mean, Sixer, we were saying how his AWPing is something that is a bit of a spectacle on this map, and right now, I mean, he's not disappointing.
It's true, that's the thing as well, right? And you look at it, sure, Sixer has 7 frags on the board. This is what we said. He's not someone that is going to present you with these crazy star performances every game, but he plays his role. If they didn't have this effective AWP control over towards Arch, so many of these rounds would have been completely dismantled. He's getting the first pick. I think essentially for the past 4 rounds in a row, he's been able to get the first pick, 9 times out of 10. And that's what you need as well, because Kinguin, when they have that one-man disadvantage, they don't know how to play out the rounds effectively from that point onwards. EnVyUs as well, you can just play for trades, hold crossfires, fall back, play for trades, and you win that round every time. And that's why it's been so effective. So sure, he might not having the the best showing individually frag-wise, but he's playing his role fantastically. And this is what we need to see as well. Aggression this time around towards bottom Banana. They're going to try and take the fight. Usually XMS has been able to find this frag. This time, they actually force him out of position using their nades.
Yeah, now he is here alone, but quick on the rotate. It's going to be happy to come on round, looking to reinforce. XMS just playing it passively. Isn't even in the position on Banana to even cause a threat to these guys, as now they only just round the corner. Smoke's going to go down. It's going to delay them that much more, and already you can see that Scream's looking poised to rotate on round as well, as he now makes his way in towards Speedway. Perhaps just going to be playing a floating role in CT, but now they just decide to go for the gamble. They put 3 players over here towards this B site, and it is a fantastic read as Kinguin. They're stacked up. All their eggs into one basket. 5 players on Banana, ready and waiting to execute towards A. And as the smokes and flashes rain on in, Happy and XMS have the crossfire. Screaming and peeking on out now over towards the coffins. As XMS going to be able to find the first trade, looking to come through from Happy, who peeks out wide, going to get 2. Happy and Scream both dealt with. Sixer and RPK find themselves 2-on-2, and rotating in from the A site does mean that bomb's already going to be down.
Around though, trying to hold towards Garden. Seems like he's trying to hear out for audio cues if he can go for a potential backstab. Meanwhile, we see a boost going out. The flashbang over the smoke. RPK, though, trying to get the better of the opponents, but Mouse, it just set him up to find the first kill. Sixer, he's on the scene, he has the ult, but realizes it's too risky for him to try and pick this one up. Must fall back. Will peek in for a little bit more information towards the end. They're hoping they're going to push into his crosshair. Maybe he finds this kill on towards Rallen, but that is the best case scenario at this point. The round is as good as done. Kinguin will tie up the scoreline 13-13. Sixer spots out the man, but no chance to actually find the frag. The timing as well is so awkward. He will get away with his life in the end, though, so that's a good factor. Needed to try and hold on to that wall.
And you know, one thing that you spoke about, the bromance between Sixer and Kenny, if you actually look at the AWP, that I don't know if it's actually Kenny's AWP, but it's the magic stick, it's the Dragon Law, it's got the signature on. Yeah, I thought, yeah. It's like the Karate Kid, but with Kenny and Sixer.
Without Will
beautiful.
Smith.
Yeah.
It's not the bad version, it's the good one.
13-13 though anyway, as Sixer is going to have himself the AWP still to play around with, peeking out over in towards mid, looking to try and find something early on. And no one's going to be presenting themselves just yet around the corner. Now going to worry about second mid as he hears that nade go off. He's aware of the presence here, and it's something that we did see Kinguin do early on. So now he's going to turn his attention towards second mid and actually fall on back. Now once again, we've got the situation where XMS is solo over towards that B site. 4 players for EnVyUs over here towards A. And as Kinguin actually send 4 of their players up towards mid and grab control of apps, it looks like they're going to think about executing out towards this A site. Unfortunate for them, that's where both of these weapons are for EnVyUs.
It's true. They've played into their hands. They were one step ahead of them here if they do actually make their play on towards the A-bomb side, but it seems like it's being a bit of a ruse. The nades are raining in, sure, but they're not doing too much in terms of actual manpower. They leave Miku as a late round lurk. He is just going to be creating a bit of a distraction, firing a couple of pot shots, throwing those flashbangs over the aid of his teammates. The real play seems to be occurring towards that B-bomb site, sending a duo in, seeing if they can work as a unit, find those opening frags. XMS is there, has the back of his teammate. If they can work their way in, get these opening kills, then They'll probably go for this committal towards the bomb site, but Scream is rotating over as well. They now have 3 men situated there. It is going to be a stack site where they want to try and overpower them, just using their raw arsenal. They slip their way through. XMS is up close and personal, finds the headshot. It's actually Scream to do the damage with a deagle. Happy in the elevated angle as well. We'll find one, but Furlan can trade it back. There's another Furlan. This is huge so far, but RPK in position. Can he slay with the pistol? Though that is going to be the question. Sixer is up close as well. He can't use the AWP in this range. Has to stick with his sidearm as he hopes, waiting for the smoke to dissipate, but Furlan spots him out first. Look at this as well now. 10 seconds left on the board. They have to find the kill. It's the only way they pick this up. RPK trying to take them down, but it wasn't meant to be. Furlan unleashes a flurry of bullets, a hailstorm into him with that AK-47. They take the lead once more. They get their 14th round.
Yeah, that was the ace from Furlan in order to close that out. That's going to firmly cement him up at the top of the board. 25 frags right now. Very, very close to potentially hitting that 30 bomb. And well, it is going to be EnVy with a buy on the cards at least. FAMAS is in play, UMP up on 6, so not going to be ideal. And actually 3 players over towards B, a complete change in the strategy. And it looks like they wanted to go aggressive. That Molotov from Furlan going to hold them back. Completely denies that early strategy. Smoke will go down at least to deny the aggression, and as a result they can net themselves some control of Banana. XMS pushing on down. Now they're going to rotate a player over towards A. It's a good switch up. Change of pace coming out from them. XMS being here on Banana with the smoke down, going to deny any early aggression. They have no info as to what's going on. And Happy staying around over towards B a little bit longer than usual to try and trade out for XMS. Now going to rejoin his comrades over towards A. 4 players here, and as Kinguin make their way on up, they could be playing into the hands of EnVyUs here.
Frags do come through. RPK will kick it off, but there's Miku with the retaliation. Sperrick, one of his own as well. The wallbangs, he takes down Scream. Sixer though, look at this aggression. Starts to run rampant with the UMP as he brushes his way through everyone in front of him. XMS is close by as well. They didn't have the greatest buy into the round, but they've actually got a very good situation for them. Happy has the drop on the opposition if they make their commit towards the A bomb site, but they are backing off, repositioning, hoping they can slip their way in towards B. XMS has arrived on the scene just in the nick of time though. The smoke does go down to block off his line of sight. Is he going to go for a risky play here and push on his own? Most likely. Waits for the rotate of Happy. They have to play together. Happy is the key. He has the defuse kit here.
Yeah, they're both going to reconvene. Now towards Ruins now, trying to secure their site. 2 on 3. They are going to be the man disadvantage, but Sparrow's tagged down extremely low. And instead, they're going to elect to fall on back. Give this round up to Kinguin. That's going to be 15-13 as they arrive at match point. And as a result, EnVy, well, they will have a little bit to buy down into the next. The 2 scavenged FAMAS is going to be worth their weight in gold. Looking to try and find the AKs they're able to drop over towards mid, so they do at least get them out of this. But still, I mean, saving's a little bit risky, especially when you consider the damage that was done to Sparrow.
It's scary. And the thing is as well, you look at that, potentially, right, they could have been able to pick that round up.
Yeah.
They might not know exactly how low Sparrow is, but they definitely would have been called that he has taken a bit of a, you know, a fair hit. Someone's given him a punch in the kidney. Not a great situation to be in. But this is the thing. If they went for that, the risk they run is if they lose the round anyway, coming into this affair, they have absolutely nothing in their arsenal. At least this time around, they have a fairly effective buy. They have something to work with. They basically had to play for overtime either way. As you know, they based that entire round just on ifs and buts, potentials. At least this is solid weaponry they have coming into this final round. But it's not the greatest buy at all. There's no AWP on Sixer, and it's been critical that he needs that weapon in his arsenal to slow down the side of Kinguin. XMS as well. Can he go for the aggressive style of play that he wants to play with a UMP?
No.
He can, but he can't find the frags.
Yeah, he's going to go down straight away. That's an early man advantage now for Kinguin, and already you can see out of desperation, Scream's going to go aggressive, but there's already players waiting in the wings to try and counteract this exact play. He's going to be pushing on out towards App. Sparrow, meanwhile, trying to take the peek in mid. Sixer is there, but this time not with the AWP in hand. Only going to have himself a UMP. Scream falls on back into the safety of the site. Rejoins RPK, and actually Happy's making his way down Banana. He could be the difference maker, the linchpin of this round. He can come in from behind and try and mop up a couple of frags over towards mid, but Furlan, well read, rotates back around over towards Banana to watch for the early aggression. While the rest of his team trying to make some presence over here towards A, and actually down goes Sparrow. Now just watching his comrade taken apart by that UMP. As it is going to be equalized back into a 4-on-4, but look at how much short control has been taken here by Kinguin. Completely unaware. EnVyUs now peeking on out, screaming to be the player to try and spot that. Is in danger of being dropped, and actually RPK up in the corner does get one, but it's going to be swiftly dealt with. It's Sixer on the flank, gets 2. Okay, the UMP going to be worth its weight in gold. It's all on Furlan. 1v2, bombs down out in the open. They don't want to take the peek, but Sixer has been able to get himself the AWP in hand.
The weapon that he needs, the weapon he is such a prolific fragger with, that is Really his home turf. 19 seconds left on the clock. Furlan hoping to do something. He has recovered the bomb. Needs to get it planted though. They're not pushing into the site. They have to play together, but they have an abundance of utility. 2 flashbangs and a smoke. They've got a lot to work with. Hopefully if they just play together here, but the peak comes out. Furlan though connects the headshot. The wallbang comes through. Hungry for more and he does it. He picks up both the double kill, the triple overall. He will close it down. Kinguin somehow are going to tear their way through. They close down the first matchup. I mean, that's an amazing feat for them. Absolutely wild.
I think, you know, hats off to Furlan, who had a spectacular performance. I mean, he was firing on all cylinders throughout that, just doing phenomenally well. And that's something I really don't think that when you look at it, EnVy really accounted for. I mean, coming into it, 6 already good performance on the AWP. You had a Scream was doing well as well, but he kind of fell off there towards the end, was struggling a hell of a lot. RPK had some great moments in the first half. Once again, fell a little bit silent over in the second. And I mean, Furlan, I was very surprised by how well he did. I mean, normally you kind of look over towards me to make the plays, but instead it just seemed to be the day of Furlan.
It's true, and it's crazy as well, right? Because past couple of days in the games we've seen from them, it seems like they've kind of been struggling a little bit. They've been trying to jump those hurdles and stumbling on their T-half. This time around, crazy, back on form. This is what we saw at the beginning of Pro League, where they had unprecedented T-halves in terms of how effective they can be with those AKs. Everyone was popping off. There were so many rounds that it looked like they weren't going to get it, purely because we saw Sixer being able to swat them down, always getting that opening frag on the board, and then EnVyUs played it smart. They play for trades, they wouldn't overextend. I mean, we saw in the first few rounds they actually lost, Scream would constantly take the fight towards opponents, sprint his way in, he'd trade, but then Kinguin would still be able to pick those rounds up because it favored them. The only difference maker was when Kinguin actually realized and switched things up towards the end there, how it went back in their favor, because, you know, EnVyUs were smart. They adapted in the mid game, but towards the late game, they just had no answers, it seemed.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, even the XMS over towards B, right? They normally had 4 players on that A site, so you would have expected it to go their way with how often Kinguin actually made their way in towards A. But instead, I mean, it was the complete opposite. 4 players on that A site, and it just didn't work out for them. They didn't have good crossfires. You saw that Scream and RPK kept getting dropped on that push-up through short. That just wasn't working out at all. Whenever Kinguin did hit that B site, it was only XMS there, and they rotate happy round, you know, playing that lurk over towards CT. But ultimately, it just wasn't fast enough, and it didn't give them enough coverage of the site. No one was there to trade for XMS, so he goes down straight away, and that B site's just overrun with Polish players. And I mean, ultimately, that means that Kinguin, they're only picking up the first map.
It's true, and that's huge for them as well. They picked up that first map. I mean, when we looked at it, we were going, okay, you know, you look at this matchup on paper, EnVyUs, they should come in quite dominantly over on the side of Inferno. We expect them to be able to pick that one up, you know, with maybe sort of somewhere in the region of a 16-10 scoreline. We're thinking EnVyUs will lock it down. Then all of a sudden, Kinguin pick this one up. Now, going into the second map, that's going to be scary. Cobblestone, a map that they definitely have potential on, and potential for that 2-0 could be a very crazy feat, but we are going to have to wait and see if that is going to be the case. We're going to be going over to a short break before we come back in with map 2. Don't go anywhere, as it's been a fabulous series so far, and we can only imagine more is to come.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, PaySafeCard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
You ready?
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. Map 1 was an absolute slobber knocker. It was crazy stuff going down, but we're back, me and Harry, for the second map. It's going to be the final one, unfortunately, today. It's a bit of a shorter day than usual, but still jam-packed with action. There's obviously surprising results undergoing. I mean, Kinguin getting that first map on the board on Inferno. Not the result we expected.
Yeah, no, I mean, not really. When you look at it, like EnVyUs were going, from strength to strength on it. But I think, it does also come down to the fact that you had a lot of components going the right way for Kinguin. A lot of players that they needed to have a strong performance that usually have these, strong performances that have been absent lately. They definitely had them. Ferlin really stepping up to the mark, even though he's someone who I would say has been having a very hard time lately and kind of keeping up with the rest of the team. As well as that, I mean, it does come into the fact that they've just played it a lot more than EnVy have. EnVy only playing it 3 times since it was added into the map pool. It's one that they've been going from strength to strength on, but there is still a lot of work there that they've got to do Whereas, when you look over at Kinguin, it's one they've kind of really tried to adapt on, really tried to focus on, because teams at their level normally neglect the newer additions added into the map pool.
And that's the thing, right? That's sort of what we touched on throughout the game, is the fact when you look at it, Kinguin are the older team. Kinguin have the bigger playbook. In theory, when their players step up, they should be winning those matchups. And that's what happened, right? Like, they had a lot more to play with in terms of strategy, gave them more to work with into those later rounds, whereas when that happened to EnVyUs, it seemed like they kind of didn't have anywhere else to go to, right? They were kind of forced into a corner and were like, what do we do from this point? Whereas Kinguin kept it going, they were adapting, they looked good overall, and then just individually they stepped up. As you said, Furlan was going crazy. Headshots galore all over the place. That's what we need to see as well. And that's the thing, you can't rely on Miku anymore. He's not, he is still the player that he used to be, but internally he cannot just fully carry that team. Everyone needs to step up, especially in the level they're at now. So that's kind of the shift we've seen there, that paradigm change, and it's good to see the rest of that unit actually stepping up massively. I mean, it's huge to see this Polish side start to work their way back through, but nevertheless, it is only one map. Even if they get two, it's not the best result for them, as they're going to be left at the bottom of that scoreboard. But this is great to deny EnVyUs, right?
And I mean, it's only up from here, right? It can only get better. As they still find themselves over in last place, but there is the potential for them to go ahead and work their way up the board. And like you said, I mean, if they win this, then they could actually move up one place, which would be good. As we are heading into Cobble, that is the second map of tonight. And while heading into it, it was kind of the one that I thought the Kinguin would be most likely to get anyway. So I feel like, their chances on this are going to be fairly good. It's one they faced a lot of, kind of tier 1 teams, as well as a couple of, tier 2, tier 3 competitors on, having mixed results across the board. But generally speaking, whenever they have lost, the scorelines have been fairly close. I think the one exception to that was Gambit, who, are fairly renowned for having a strong performance on Cobble. So, maybe one that was to be expected. Whereas when you look over at EnVy, they've had a very shaky start to Cobblestone. Their only win was versus G2, at least with this roster. So, yeah, I mean, they've been having a hard time of it.
It's true. It's not the best result. Obviously, G2, the other super team that came out of the roster sort of mishmash that went on in that French scene, right? But G2, they've been struggling quite heavily. They've not really had the early results that they expected. I think a lot of people looking at it as well on paper, obviously you've got that duo of Shox and Kenny. You thought, wow, they're going to be the superior team. But it's kind of been, as you said, sort of the scraps that were left over from everyone else that have culminated in the side of EnVyUs that's been doing the work. The underdog sort of team overall that's really stepped up massively. And it's good to see. That's the thing as well with that matchup. Into those early games, we saw sort of old Source RPK back in action. He looked like he'd got all the dust off him. He was looking good. There was a nice little fresh coat of paint on him. Scream as well. We've got to touch on those headshots that were coming out. That was vintage Scream on display, and it looked like everything was going well for them, right? We didn't really see any crack showing. It was what you wanted. Everyone in EnVyUs played their role very well, and then it just sort of broke down. And they can't afford that as well. On Cobblestone, it's not even really a map where we can be like, this should be favourable to EnVyUs. This is a map going into it that we think that they are going to get locked down on. So we need to see them really step up individually. They can't be having these little niggles here and there where they're not being able to hit their shots. That's not going to fly on this map. So it's a scary one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you really look at it, the teams that they've lost to as well aren't really anything, worth writing home about. With the exception of North, they did take North through to overtime, 17-19. North still won that out. And when you think about it, North, they were historically very good on Cobblestone. It was, one of Dignitas's kind of go-to maps back in the day. But if you remember coming into this year, they had a very shaky start on it. Thinking back, to the E-League major, when they started off, it nearly was the bane of their existence. It was nearly the reason why they went out 0-3 almost. They lost their opening 2 games on it. They did, however, then go, and manage to make it through into the group stage. But as well as that, they've lost to Big twice. And HR once as well, and neither scoreline's that close. Meanwhile, when you look over at the side of Kinguin, they've kind of have a bit of a mixed bag of results, but ultimately I feel like once again it's just going to come down to the fact they play it a hell of a lot more. They've played it up against a mix of teams, so they're more than aware of all the different kind of strategies that can be called into play, and most importantly, they've played it up against teams that are a hell of a lot better than the likes that that EnVy have. So yeah, I mean, coming into this, I feel like it's going to be a chance for them to take it 2-0.
And that's the thing, that's the scary factor as well. As you said, you're looking at that. I mean, that's results where, obviously when you think of Kinguin alone, you sort of think of maps of Overpass and Cobble was where they're going to sort of, they're going to be at home. That's where they're going to dominate, right? And we saw that when they went up against VP, when they actually came out on top. There was a huge shake-up when you look at it, right? Obviously, it's online CS with VP. It can always be all over the place. But in terms of a domestic matchup, you always expect Kinguin to be behind them. They are that sort of number 2 Polish team. And they just be able to tear their way through. They absolutely annihilated VP in that matchup. Now, working our way back into this, obviously that was Overpass, but on Cobblestone here, you just look at it and you think, okay, as you said, with the results, they have played against a lot more Tier 1 talent since, you know, that team's been together, whereas EnVyUs, sure, they've got a lot of Tier 1 talent on that roster, but as a team, they haven't had that much exposure back again once again playing at those levels. In terms of practice, they might have, but in officials, from what we're able to work out statistical off and benchmarks, we just don't really have that many answers because, you know, it's kind of a grey area. I haven't really seen it. So it's scary coming into Cobblestone. It's going to be really a massive fight between either side. We need to see a lot on display. I mean, for me as well, Sparrow, we want to see him hitting his shots. The only issue was there with that lineup. I feel the one player that we have to kind of say needed to do a little bit more was Sparrow. If Sparrow comes into it with that AWP and is able to hit those shots, that is going to be so dominant because this map plays into that as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, he is an AWPer. Sixer, meanwhile, you know, kind of plays that hybrid support AWP role, something, you know, kind of akin to how we saw for Flaren back in the day, you know, back on the NIP roster, you know, a whole bunch of other players that play on that similar style. And, you know, he's out-AWPing the likes of Sparrow right now, so that has been a huge issue for them. But anyway, heading into the pistol round, we're going to be seeing EnVyUs over on the CT side. And well, already 3 players for Kinguin over here towards this B site. 2 players up towards drop, and actually then they've got Rallen watching any aggression over towards platform, and Scream looking like he might give it to them as he does just peek on out over the top of the stairs for the time being. No movement just yet from Kinguin as they take things slowly, looking to see if an opening frag will present itself, courtesy of EnVyUs.
Nothing really to write home about just yet. Everyone holding their ground, sitting tight, ready for the action to kick off. You can see Happy playing anti-flash here, has the back of his teammates that hold the crossfire. The heads will come through, but they can't quite connect the shots just yet. Mouse actually overpowers them. Happy in the anti-flash position as well. They do take him down. They strike up on him. XMS is forced to fall back. It was supposed to be a trifecta, a triangle of death that would absolutely wipe out anyone who tried to slip their way in towards drop down, but it's gone the complete wrong way. RPK, Happy down, Sixer follows suit. It's just Screaming XMS left, and they're getting pushed more. And goes Sparrow. We saw him in the previous matchup. We needed him to go bigger than that, and he does. Immediately a 2K to his name. Rallen, another frag goes his way. Kinguin looked smart. It looked clever. Everyone played very well together, and it came massive for them. That was a huge, huge round they picked up there. They needed that first one to try and kick it down as well. This T-sided map, they need to try and tear their way through it.
And I mean, you know, from Envy, what more could you do to stop that drop-down push than put 3 players there? That's a huge investment early on from them, and it still doesn't pay out. You still see Kinguin open it up. They do find themselves that first round. And already a little less respect than what we saw previously. 3 rifles in play, 2 UMPs to try and make themselves some money. And for the time being, 2 players over towards this A site. And as it looks like Scream might be falling on back over towards the realms of B. 3 players here for EnVyUs. So that bomb's just dropped very neutrally for the time being, although slightly over towards this B site. They're just trying to find some entries, not wanting to play into the hands of the armor pistol by giving them these close engagements. XMS watching platform. Interestingly enough, they've actually instead rotated Scream out towards the A site, who now rejoins his teammates over on B, but the bomb's already doubling back, as it looks like A might be the site in question. Reposition,
rearm themselves and try and take that fight towards A. It's going to be Sixer most likely to hear those audio cues, the pitter-patter of their footsteps, and try and relay that to his teammates, as there is a mass rotate going on right now. They've used their utility and Seeds of Doubt to actually confuse the side of EnVyUs. They have caused the rotate, but things have started to readjust. Now they're going to be completely aware of what's going on as well. Aggression towards the A-bomb site. Sparrow kicks it off as he has beat down Sixer. Scream is up close and personal. Can he respond? Unfortunately not. Furlan will be able to tear his way through them. This is looking like it's just going to be a bloodbath going the way of Kinguin.
Yep, Happy is going to be on the site though with a CZ in hand, looking to try and cause some damage. That nade going to find RPK, gets slam dunked, and actually down goes Happy as well. It's all on XMS, 1v4, Deagle in hand, 10 HP in a dream, Rallen in his backside though. And they just bypass each other, just going to be scooting around each other for the time being. Rallen going to check the angle, and down he goes, UMP to the spinal cord as he does go down. Money made for Kinguin, they keep 4 players alive as well. And we can see Rallen looking like he might just stick with the P250 armor into this. Moneymaker going to be on the back of Rallen once again. He's been the kind of token SMG player for the team, who's there just to farm up the cash. Envy not buying so much as a P250, and they're just saving up everything. USPs across the board. And this is really the shot for Rallen to try and make some big bucks.
This is going to be his natural habitat here. Needs to do some work. Flashbangs will go over, but what can he actually achieve? He will slip his way down into drop. Oh, does a lot of damage, Harry, but no kills actually going his way just yet. The XMS is low, though. He's going to limp out of there, and Furlan will trade him out as well. Headshot comes in, though. Rallen keeping up this aggression that's on display. Furlan as well, this duo. They're finding so many easy kills till Sixer does retaliate, but it's just left on him. Surely he falls, will be spotted out once again by the man himself. Rallen 3 kills going his way. There's a huge cash bonus being injected to their side. They are going to be so happy with that one. Look at that. 8k on him now as well. The buyers will come into effect. This is when those AKs are going to be on display. He will stick with the UMP though. He can play more of a loose style of CS. Actually opting to switch it out. Is he going to go for the AK or is he going to go with the UMP? It's all a bit of a mystery. Has gone for the AK. You see Furlan going to be switching over to the UMP. Meanwhile though, for EnVyUs, the big factor is Sixer. He's on the AWP.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, 4 players over towards this B site early on. Sixer playing a solo with the AWP, something that we're not really too used to seeing, and he's looking like he's going to take the aggression out towards long. Now, no one's here. Everyone from Kinguin over towards that B site, with the exception of Sparrow, who is just waiting for any sort of aggression. Now going to rejoin the rest of the teammates, as it looks like they're just going to go barreling in towards this B site. Scream trying to vacate the area with the UMP in hand, going to be able to get one. It's Happy, though, to play around the statue on the fountain. Going to get himself a second. Just biding his time, trying to buy plenty of time for the rotates coming from the rest of his teammates. Sixer already over here towards this B site. And while Happy does get one more, finally going to be traded out. Courtesy of Mouse, but now it's a 1v2. The AWP on site going to prove too strong as he will falter. Envy, they find themselves their first round. And despite a very convincing initial push coming in from Kinguin, it was very, very quickly rectified. A lot of that falling onto the shoulders of Happy, who bought so much time for the rotate. They just couldn't deal with him on the fountain. He didn't overextend, didn't peek out. And as a result, I mean, Sixer and co were already well and truly pushed up, and that bomb just couldn't get down.
It's true, they were cemented in position. They were showing no signs of slipping away. They held their ground nice and firmly. Sixer as well, looking like there might be some confidence. Actually does slow it down a notch, holds back and just plays the contact angle. If they peek into him, most likely he does actually find that opening frag. Sparrow as well had the same idea in mind as he just holds back, hoping there would have been some form of aggression on display from the side of EnVyUs, but none of that will be going down today. Seems like it will be a play towards a bomb site into the late round, try and gain control of sides, then slip these last 2 players of Kinguin through the drop-down area, go through connector and culminate on that A bomb site. But they need to overpower Sixer here. He is going to be the critical man, the one that will slow them down so much. Nice smoke in play as well. They can draw them back out of position and set themselves up into this round.
Yeah, now Scream is here to try and reinforce, and Six is going to be playing over towards the SWAT fan. Right now, Envy not in a great place to rotate these players off of B, but the hope is that Sixer and Scream can do their work and just hold back the tide of Kinguin. And that smoke going to be worth its weight in gold. Rowling goes down over towards mid, peeking out. He now knows that Six is here with the AWP, but still the man advantage secured early on and no trade in sight just yet. Furlan going to go barreling up towards mid. Scream watching the aggression in through that smoke at long. As now he's going to peek out over towards ramp, gets the first, turns his attention back over towards long, going to be on 2, looking for the third. Okay, Scream, what are you doing? Looking for the 4th as he goes insane. It's all on Moze. 1v5, trying to make this work. Does get 1. Happy going to go down. Scream, well, he's hungry for a 4th, just going to hold position for the time being, allowing for his team to make their way towards the site. Mao's falling on back, trying to secure long, but he knows that Scream is here, and Scream is on form. Doesn't want to take the peek. Instead, going to make his way out towards mid. Gets spotted, tagged down low, and at this point, this is saving territory. Smoke goes down, and Mouse falls back.
Sprints out there trying to stay alive, but Scream, that was single-handedly him that really teared his way through. 4 kills overall right now as he picked up 3 in that round alone. Great stuff on display. He also grabbed another AWP for the side of EnVyUs, just what they needed. Here's the replay of that hit. Huge, huge round. Absolutely fantastic to see these kills coming through. Headshot after headshot. Now, this is the thing. EnVyUs starting to step up this early on. That's always scary. Kinguin, we know that they can be effective, but they need to lock it down. They have to try and get a big buffer on their T-half. They can't let these rounds slip. And EnVyUs, playing like that, it's going to be hard to overpower them. The double AWP setup coming out as well. 1 now being taken by Happy. Let's see what he's going to bring to the table here over towards that B-bomb site, where Kinguin are seeming to be hitting as well. They've got a bit of a mishmash of utility to work with, but they can try and get a smoke wall up to divide the site, block off those lines of sight, and try and take down these CTs.
There we go, push going to be coming on in, straight in through drop. RPK going to hit the footsteps, gets himself 2, looking for a 3rd, finally dealt with by Mouse, but Screams there. Oh, he anticipates the kill, switches out of the USP and will go down as a result. That nade, slam dunk, down goes Mouse, and Happy at this point should take up basketball. It's all on Furlan, 1v3. Playing over towards short, does have an AK to play around with. But got to watch out because you can see Sixer coming in from that A site on the rotate late, but it's Happy to find the frag regardless. Playing around the fountain once again. EnVyUs, they tie things up 3-3. And they reset the economy of Kinguin. This is where they can start to get the ball rolling over on their CT side.
Yeah, this is a huge feat for them. Just what they needed. You don't want to allow Kinguin to get any more than they deserve at that point. You can't really give them anything else. And they've done that, just that. They've been able to slow it down. You leave Kinguin in this horrible situation where they're starved for economy. They have to just work with the pistols instead. This isn't really going to complement them too much. They are going to take that aggression, though, towards side. Sixer does peek through, but can't quite connect the shot. It is going to be forced to fall back. They do tag him a little bit, weaken him up, soften him as they push their way in. But what can Scream do here? Easy frags once again. 1-2, hungry for more, will peek through. Trying to connect those shots, but struggling, and the pistols start to do a bit of damage. Actually, weak their way through the weaker players over on the side of EnVyUs until RPK does retaliate. It's just on Miku, 10 HP, trapped. Surely will be eliminated here.
A thin layer of wood and 10 HP. All that stands between him and certain death, but he's mere meters away from the bomb site, and if they rotate RPK off, 6 is a potential frag. He looks away at the wrong time, and down he goes. He can't cross to the site, however, as RPK is going to be there with the M4. Vigilant, as always, picks that trade frag up, and Envy, they're going to find themselves 4-3. But that round was costly, and it was looking like it shouldn't have been. I mean, Scream was kind of the one who could have made the difference, but ultimately missed a couple of those shots, couldn't quite connect it, ruined his headshot percentage, and then goes down, making that a much more costly scenario than it needed to.
It's true. Very, very awkward there as he worked his way out, but they still pick up the round overall. That is important. They need to try and keep linking these together. Kinguin, though, money to play with once again. They have an AWP out. We also lost the second AWP on Happy, so it's just Sixer back in the driving seat. He's going to be full force in terms of his AWPing capabilities, but XMS with the early peak takes down Sparrow. So much confidence on display here. Where was this on Inferno? We saw this from XMS where he would constantly do this towards Banana, but it wasn't really working. Now, though, finds the opening frag, takes down Sparrow. A great way to kick this one off.
XMS just going to continue his reign of terror over towards platform. Actually going to go even more aggressive now. Works his way into the cubby. Going to go in for the re-smoke just to buy that much more time for the guys over towards B. Bomb will be picked up, looking like it's going to rejoin the rest of their teammates potentially out towards mid, but no. Instead, it's Rollin and Ferlin to try and secure drop down, and actually it's going to be handed over to them for free. RPK playing this very passively. That Molotov going to force him out. And now they're going to look to try and capitalize on this. If they can get control of connector, they can very easily rotate in over towards A, deny the rotates from B. It's such a strong position and just essential to success on Cobble. Bomb's going to rejoin everyone else out towards mid. Rollins in the back line over towards connector. And for the time being, they've got to worry about him. RPK going to take the peak, misses those shots, and will be punished for it. Pays for it with his life. Down he goes. And this is where Rollins going to be so incredibly pivotal to this play. Six has got to watch his back line. Got to be constantly worrying about the player. And there he is. Rollin emerges from the fire and flames. Going to get himself a third. He's such a key element to success here. And it's all on XMS in the blink of an eye. Scream was alone on A. Down he goes. And XMS just going to run away with his tail between his legs. Saves himself the AK. But that'll be Kinguin to find themselves a fourth.
XMS starts to back off, though. Has to try and go for a bit of a save into this round. Just hold on to that weapon. But they are hunting him. Miku on the aggression here. If he spots him out, it's going to damage the economy of EnVyUs just that tad bit more. Leave them in a slightly more awkward situation. It's just what Kinguin want. They don't want to give them any lifelines to play with. Would recalibrate that scoreline at 4-4 as well. But he does find the kill. XMS going to be taking down Miku. Surely he survives at this point. Everyone else is way too far away to try and take him down. XMS will be able to brush his way through with that AK. Still, though, scary as we get into this following round. It's going to be an important one. You can see the damage that has been done to EnVyUs. It was always a shaky economy. They were never able to get into a stable position. It is only going to be at most 3 weapons in play, I believe, as we work our way out through this.
Yeah, so it looks like just going to force buy down to $2,000. Dropped pistols courtesy of XMS, and he's going to keep the AK into this, trying to wreak some havoc with that. And already 4 players over towards mid. A complete change up from Kinguin. Bomb's going to be dropped over towards the stairs in mid. And Mihu now entering out in towards middle. And actually, as both these players have gone aggressively over towards long, Scream now lining them up with a D, trying to make this work. Got to try and hold back the push, but no, he will go down. RPK falls as well over towards B. Ron looking to try to wreak more havoc. Sixer goes down over towards the A side. That's that given up for free. Happy does find one though. Rollin going to be handing the AK over. 2 rifles gathered now for EnVyUs. The AK that XMS scavenged out the last round, and Happy's been able to find himself one as well. Saving in this scenario, keeping the 2 AKs. That's going to be a nice consolation prize at least for them.
yeah, just something to try and aid them a little bit, as it's not great. You can see Kinguin here, seeming like they've been able to actually crack the master plan. They've worked out what was stopping them, and they've now countered it. As they get another round on the board, they link them together as well. That's the critical factor. Being able to get both of those rounds back to back really does switch things up a bit. EnVyUs, though, will have a bye into the following round, but they need to have some kind of answer at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 4 players staying alive for Kinguin, going to be their real shot to start to accrue some money over on the T side. Envy, thanks to saving these 2, never mind, thanks to saving this 1 rifle. That's the Caster's Curse, literally live in action. Boom, down goes Happy. So, buying up into this one, you could see one of these players relegated down to something like a UMP, because the money it still isn't that great in spite of, going for the Quasi in the previous.
It would have been okay if they saved both of those weapons.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone would have rifles all across the board. But, I mean, losing Happy there was actually, a far worse scenario than it might initially look, as this round it means once again they're just going to have to Quasi.
That's the thing. There was potential for them to actually invest heavily into that. They could have disputed those weapons and had a full buyout, but now they've just got to stick with this, which is going to be very awkward. Most likely you're going to see a repeat of what happened into the prior round. Kinguin just overpower them and actually take the lead even further, getting that 6th round on the board. XMS, though, he's got the AK. And over here, this is his domain. He plays so effective here as he just glides his way around, but he's been spotted, he's been caught out, and he's been taken down as well. Furlan, we're ready to execute him there with the AK as he makes his approach in towards the bomb site, hungry for more as well. There's a connection coming through as he lands the headshot back on towards Happy. The damage has been done, and it just keeps getting better and better for the side of Kinguin. RPK, the last man left standing. Deagle galore comes out, but can he do anything else?
Yeah, 1v4 Deeg in hand, and Sparrow, well, he's got something bigger, mightier, and packing more of a punch than the Deeg. Going to be quick to guillotine RPK before he can get so much as his foot in the door. 4-6, Kinguin. 2 rounds the advantage to them, but MB finally with the ability to buy down. I just think that the effect of, the decision in the previous round where Happy did go down, didn't need to take that peek at all. Would have gained them very little even if he had picked up a frag. And ultimately, it's given Kinguin a round entirely for free. Now we're going to see the buy that should have come in the previous round, and Kinguin are going to find themselves with 6 already. We can see that 6 has got aggressive over towards Long once again, playing the aggressive angle. And this time he's got Scream there to back him up on the site, ready and waiting, instead of playing over towards B with the rotate. 3 players here out in middle, looking to try and challenge 6. So they force him back. That's going to get them control along. Now Scream's rejoined everyone else in towards B. So if they actually go quick out towards this A site and 6 goes down, then it's going to be a very, very challenging retake potentially for Envy.
Well, no. This aggression, more of a lurk, basically the backstab, as he just always having a bit of a sniff around, ready for the right way to strike with the backup of Furlan. They aren't really going to spot anything though, as they just wait this one out. Sparrow has delivered the bomb over towards the A-bomb site as well, and he's going to be aiding them. Seems like a heavy investment play towards the speed bomb site early though, as Rallen is dropped down. He is going to be stuck there. You can see the CT's aware of his position. Can they actually find the frag though? Actually goes the way of Rallens and gets the headshot back on towards RPK. This is awkward. This is going to spark a bit of a reposition over on the side of EnVyUs that could be their downfall into the late round, as it seems the play will be heading over towards A.
Yeah, no, this is something they're not going to see coming. 6 has already rotated on round with the AWP. Scream's joining them. The A site's going to be completely given up. And okay, he's going to land the no-scope. Down goes Furlan. The repeat going to come in from Rallen, but he's going to bite the dust as well, as they're just mopped up by 6. Suddenly brought back into the realms of possibility. Scream on the A site with a nice crisp headshot. Maz now to try and refrag. It does get 1. It's going to be a 2-on-3, but still, what started off as an amazing round for Kinguin quickly brought back. 6 will go down as Sparrow. The clash of the Titans goes down and Sparrow emerges victorious. Now it's XMS and Happy to retake this site. Bomb has been planted. They're going to be on the clock, but Happy finds the initial frag out on a Sparrow. It's all on Mouse. 1v2 is clutched this time and time again. Going to peek out wide, but the double peek in full effect. Happy to trade things out. The defuse going to come in, and Envy, they finally find themselves a 5th.
Great stuff. Just when they needed it as well. It looked like it was starting to be the reign of Kinguin at that point, as they were getting rounds back to back. Good things do occur though, as they do lock that round down. Now Kinguin, they have money to play with. The buys can come back into effect, though they haven't really halted them fully. They've just slowed them down a small amount. They aren't going to actually opt to go for the AWP as well. Just sticking all with the AKs. A play that has been working into their favor. They can be a bit more loose, a bit more aggressive, and just take those fights as a unit when they need to. EnVyUs though, do have the AWP still on 6er. He was a powerhouse with it into the previous round. Can he try and keep that up though, as the play is coming to where he is situated? He's ready and waiting. This time around, he does have the Thermos in his hands. XMS, can he do damage here?
No, we cannot. Head going to be removed. And actually, Furlan going to find himself another RPK goes down in amongst the smoke. It's going to be Happy, just trying to stay alive, trying to be the thorn in their side, but his leg's going to be spotted and he will go down. Burning, getting a little bit too toasty. Furlan will plant the bomb. Sixer isolated, alone, and all the way over towards 8, looking to try and hold on to the AWP. Spots out the first player. Ralin will go down, but they're going to go hunting. They don't want to let him hold on to this high-powered rifle. And now as they just surround him like moths to a flame, Sixer got to do all he can to try and stay alive. He can wreak some havoc, do some damage. Sparrow going to go down, and if he fires now, Furlan going to be getting the brunt of that. Now peeks out around the corner. Sixer does miss, but he goes out for the repeat. Got players coming in from behind. He's got to be aware of this. Here's out Mihu on the rotate, but he will go down. Can't quite hold on to the AWP. Kinguin very confident as they find themselves as 7th.
Ooh, the pause coming into effect here as well. You can only imagine this will be tactical to try and discuss what has gone wrong as EnVyUs. They have been letting things slip away from them. They need to try and lock it down early. They have to have a bit of a response here. Obviously, this map is T-sided. Kinguin, though, 7 rounds on the board. They're going to get their 8th here, because how can you contest that when you only have 1.7 across the board? I mean, you know, what do you do there with those pistols? They haven't had the best attempts when they have had these ecos into the past as well. They play them very standard, more like gun rounds. Not really too much initiative has been displayed from EnVyUs when they have those eco rounds. So we can't really imagine they're going to be able to lock this one down in the best case scenario.
Yeah, and you know, the reoccurring nightmare for Envy right now is drop down. They've been playing it such that they give up full control of the actual drop down area itself. They watch it passively in from connector and kind of over towards rock. Whilst that, you know, is a good idea because, you know, you can see that Kinguin keep hitting drop down, and if you can leave a player in there isolated whereby he can't actually peek out because he'll die, then, you know, you do have a situation where essentially it becomes a 4-on-5 because you've got that one player stuck down in drop. But the reoccurring problem comes from the fact that RPK just can't connect his shots while he's trying to watch drop down, so he falls almost every single time, and then it's very quickly into a 4-on-5. Suddenly you've got Sixer having to watch his back over towards the A site or Scream rotating around, and the second drop down falls, and that's it. It becomes so easy for Kinguin to make their way out onto either one of the sites. It's just such a strong position on Cobblestone.
It's true, that's the thing. It's hard at the best of the times to even hold towards every bomb site. It's because of how powerful drop down is to try and gain control of, and that's just what we've seen. Those, you know, those pincer plays where they're going for hits towards the A bomb site, time in, time out, they're able to get that drop down control as well, and it's a shame because they're investing so much on that CT side to try and plug it up, to try and stop it from just being burst into round in, round out, but they just can't quite find the answer. And it's scary as well, because even when they do actually finally close out those rounds against Kinguin, they're bouncing back. 7 rounds on the board now. It's going to be 8 after this round. Then EnVyUs, off the back of, you know, most likely what this pause is for is going to be that following buy they have money for. That's where they need to switch things up. If we don't see improvement there, it's going to be so scary. You're looking at sort of, you know, at best a 9-6 for EnVyUs if they lose this following round.
And yeah, I think the main kind of thing that we're going to see come out of this is perhaps someone actually playing in the drop-down room just to try and deny the early aggression. I mean, you know, that has been kind of their one problem, because you just see then you get players caught out rotating, like XMS off of platform has died time and time again, trying to watch both angles, but he can't quite do it. Sixer's playing out of his mind with the AWP, but he very rarely gets a sniff at the action because he's having to rotate off of A site that they hit later on, so he gets caught out having to watch, you know, the push from B or A. So I'm curious to see how they do try and deal with this. Sixer going to be playing the A site once again on his own. This time Kinguin making their way over towards here. 4 players slowly but surely shuffling their way up long, and Six is about to discover this in the worst way possible.
Alan close by. Sixer has been spotted. There's the first kill coming through as he does execute him. Now the push floods in towards the bomb site. They are aware that it is a hit. They are all stuck together, crying in a corner towards the B bomb site. And if they try and exit together, Rallen is there ready and waiting. Lying in wait to try and strike, finds the first frag, hungry for more as well as they just keep pushing him, and he just keeps mowing them down. We're going to have a kill until Happy can stop him, stunt him, grab that AK, and get the hell out of there. Scream as well. They're holding the angle, hoping to find a couple of frags to slow down these Ts that are flooding their way through, hoping to do as much damage as they can. Scream will connect the headshot, trying to grab a weapon. He will glide across, grab that UMP, and go and join his brethren over in T-spawn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, UMP and AK potentially taken out of this round isn't the worst case scenario. It gives them a bit of a fighting chance to the next and just dampens the investment into that next round. And, well, Happy doesn't want the UMP. Scream hoping to get his hands on the AK so he can get those crisp, clean headshots. But never to be the case. It looks like Happy's just being greedy. Says no. And instead, well, we're going to be seeing a bit of a problematic situation now for EnVyUs. They got 2 players with weapons, but it looks like it's going to buy down at $2,000, electing to buy up instead into the last round of the half. Over on the side of Kinguin, money is not an issue. Sparrow going to have the AWP. Everyone has everything they would need. And aggression early on over towards middle.
Is that going to come back to bite him as well, potentially? Not giving Screen the AK into this round. He's been very on point with it. We've seen him landing quite a few crisp headshots, so could be a shame if that is a deciding factor, as the aggression is actually coming his way. He's left with that measly UMP that, unless he catches them off guard, won't work too well. Furlan doesn't even give him a chance, though. Headshot galore rips him to shreds. Sparrow as well does damage on towards Sixer, but there's Happy. He has the AK, he needs the slay. Unfortunately, he's going to hit the DECK, taken down by Miles. Now this aggression keeps on going as well, but it's just XMS left, all on his lonesome, and he's zoned out, trapped from the fire and the smoke. He's going to be exhausted trying to find his way in towards this bomb site. It's going to be a struggle, and there's a man hot on his tail as well, ready to backstab him when the time is right. This is going to be that 9-5 scoreline already secured by Kinguin. A scary feat, to say the least.
Yeah, EnVy need to have their resurgence, and they need to have it now. I mean, 10-5 to Kinguin would be one hell of a half from them, especially when we consider how well they've been playing as a unit. And that's kind of the key thing here. We were saying how a couple of these players need to step up and have a good game. The players that have been having, a bit of a shaky time lately, Miko actually being the one who's kind of quiet. And you look to the rest of the team instead, who are having a very strong performance and just kind of negating the fact that someone who's usually this breakout kind of star player for them is having a bit of a bad game. Smoke Wall, though, is going to be the order of the day over towards B as they rain on in to try and divide this site in two.
Molotovs start to flood all over the place. Everything is lit ablaze. Scary stuff here. XMS playing by the broken wall, though. If he is able to hide under this, remain undetected under the radar, he could definitely do some damage. The peaks do come through, but he gets snapped. Absolutely destroyed there. Mal, 6 shots coming out for him. Sixer as well, caught off guard as he was trying to reposition. RPK, though, will fight back, takes down Miles, but it's still so far gone already. And look at this, Furlan in position, primed and ready to try and strike upon the opposition, but RPK will get the better of him. Switches out to that Kalashnikov as well. Ralland is in the rear, though, ready to do some damage, and he is finding these frags easy peasy. RPK, a hat-trick so far, hungry for more. Can he find the quad kill? Will brush his way through into the scene of the crime, but Miku connects the headshot. That is going to be a 10-5 scoreline. The first half wrapped up. Kinguin looking scary. Can they keep it going in the second half? Find out after the break. Everyone, welcome back. It has been an explosive matchup so far. Kinguin, they're showing no signs of slowing down. They picked up the first map. It was a crazy feat. They're still going.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't no breaks on the Kinguin train as they just have been powering on through. And I mean, yeah, I'm very impressed with what we're seeing. A very strong performance kind of across the board. Mihu now have been kind of having a little bit of resurgence towards the end as well. The confidence of the rest of his team playing up to standard definitely going to be helping him out. And when you look, over towards EnVy, they've got a lot of issues they have to try and figure out now as they head into the second half.
And that's the thing as well, right? What's also scary when you look at it, that pistol round, there's a lot of room for Kinguin to actually try and pick this one up and lock it down. It's going to be unreal. If they actually come in here, get that pistol round, you're looking at 13 rounds on the board before EnVyUs even have a chance to try and fight back, which could be a huge feat. I mean, it's all scary at this point. It's hypothetical, but Kinguin, they've been looking outrageous in terms of their individual skills. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that actually go in their way.
Yeah, something I would like to see is getting Sixer on that AWP kind of more reliably over on the side of EnVy on this T side. I feel like he's going to be someone who is going to have quite a substantial impact in just kind of deciding the overall flow of the game. Something else as well is just, kind of being able to utilize Scream a little bit better. Scream and Six are two players that haven't really had too much of a chance to actually shine so far, as that B site and connector kept crumbling time and time again. They were constantly kind of caught on the rotate. This is their one opportunity to have these two players come alive a bit and have their say. But this pistol round, as you said, going to be worth its weight in gold. And Envy, well, they've gone for the raid boss buy on Sixer. Oh, it doesn't have armor. He's just got a Tech 9. They're not going to be throwing that over to anyone else either. He does what he wants.
It's true. Could have passed that over to anyone around him. But he's not. That's not how he rolls. He doesn't feel comfortable with that. That's his Tech 9, Harry. He saved up his pennies for that, and he's going to be holding on to it.
I mean, he earned it, right? He's the man with a plan, and already we can see that he's made his way out towards mid. Tech 9 not really renowned for its range, but once again, he doesn't care. As the rest of his team line up outside towards B, Furling going to be taking the aggressive peek out from the platform, and he's done loads of damage with the smoke. XMS, you're not looking too healthy, buddy. Only 19 HP on him. The rest of the players now making their way in through drop, just barreling on through. No one to deny it just yet. Rowling got to watch out. The flash come through, going to be caught rotating on, and he does fall. Sixer and Scream find themselves 2 frags, but Mao's making it hard for them. Going to be doing a lot of damage. Picks up 2 frags. Miho on the rotate in from A will go down to Sixer with the Tech 9, who's naked, but is still picking up frags, and down goes Sparrow as Happy prevails with the USP. Envy, they pick up the pistol, and it was an essential one at that.
Yeah, huge feat for them. Would have been so scary, right? You look at this on the board here. Hypothetically, Kinguin are going to work their way through. Unless EnVyUs got that bomb down, they weren't going to be able to get that buyout. There would have been 3 rounds going to the way of Kinguin. Would have been crazy. They would have set themselves up to lock it down. We wouldn't have even seen EnVyUs get themselves into a position where they had good economy before that game would have been closed out. Instead, they get that first pistol round on the board. They now have so many SMGs in play. This is going to be such a quick round. They're basically just going to go hyper-aggressive, explode out towards that B-bomb site, use their just body weight, overpower their opposition, find those frags very easily with these weapons, rack up a lot of cash, and try and get themselves into more manageable scoreline.
I mean, going for this many Mac 10s is a gamble, right? They're lucky that Kinguin never actually elect to fully invest into these Force Buys. Thankfully, the Mac 10 can easily overpower someone who isn't wearing any armor, but the second you kind of get that on, the Mac 10 becomes a little bit more shaky. And, well, regardless, any man with armor is going to be Maz. Everyone else going in naked, but with that. Pistols brought up across the board. Scream going to find the first as Sparrow goes down. He goes aggressive out towards A long. He's already punished for that. Furling now forced on back courtesy of the Molotov. And actually, Envy, they're just going to fully rotate most of these players on off, leaving Happy to lurk in the back line. He has made his way in through drop. Picks up the first on a Furling. And now he can deny any rotates off of B. That A site completely empty. Everyone else over towards B and at the full mercy of Happy and his Mac 10.
Really the situation you want to be in. They've torn their way through. They have an easy opening in towards the A-bomb site. Bomb does go down as well. Meanwhile, over the barn, there is going to be damage coming out on the side of Kinguin, actually. Mao's close and personal. It's going to be the preferred battleground with that CZ as he does do some work. Finds a kill. Smashes himself a Mac 10 as well that he could try and pass on one of the other members of his side if he wants, as he's very low at this point. But Rowland as well might actually get another kill here as well, as Scream is below him. Trying to spot him out, will dink him in the head. And he is forced to fall back. Still good though. They are going to be able to hopefully stay alive with these players that have gone for an investment. Most likely Mouse is the one that needs to stay alive the most here, but the push coming in towards him could be scary. The Mac 10, not too known for its range, but up close personal like this is where it's going to be tearing its way through. Bit of a stalemate though, you can see either side. Not really want to run the risk.
Yeah, Envy didn't want to throw any more players away or any more weapons away. It would have cost them a lot of money. You know, they keep 4 players alive. They don't do as much damage as they would have liked with the SMGs, but ultimately, I mean, this is their real shot to try and make that money, right? They've still got all SMGs in play. The only kind of threat potentially is Mouse or Sparrow. I mean, Sparrow with the Mac 10, but with no armor to go with it. I mean, he's just going to be chomped up by the aim punch, so they should be able to make some decent cash into this round. Already we can see that Scream's over towards mid, looking to go aggressive early on. Sparrow is long, so could look to try and challenge this. He's got a Mac 10 to play around with of his own. Everyone else now dipping in over towards middle, and actually already Happy. He's been able to sneak all the way on through drop. He's got so much presence out towards A. He knows that mid's clear, going to be clearing out the site. Now, but you have still got Sparrow over towards long to worry about.
Scream, ready for the aggression now. As he just keeps tiptoeing his way up, spots out the first man, but Sparrow with a scavenged Mac 10, the stolen weapon. He is going to find that opening kill. Sixer can retaliate though. Easy pickings for him as he leaves him in a 4 versus 4 now. These CZs, unfortunately, not in favourable locations. They have to take the fight towards the EnVyUs players, not how these weapons are really at their best. Happy, though, going to spot out one of the men, struggling to find the frag, knocked down to 3 HP before he eventually controls the recoil and does find the kill. Rallen, though, easy pickings with that CZ, will take him down. It's neck and neck, but obviously EnVyUs has a better arsenal at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's reasons, kind of going for and against actually going for this. It might be a 3-on-3, and on one hand, these pistols could very easily overpower the MAC-10s. But, at the same time, very little time left. That's going to be a huge factor in this. Mihu is trying to do some damage, but they know it's primarily SMGs up for EnVyUs. So they don't want to risk giving any more frags away. It's all just money in the bank and less for them to save. So it will be Envy to go ahead and pick up an 8th. Kinguin aren't too worried because they've still got that 2-round buffer to play around with. And they just denied $600 worth of kill reward to the side of EnVyUs. So smart move all in all. Do ever lose Mihu as he did go a little bit aggressive there, but still, I mean, it was a trade worth it, I think. He could have potentially, taken down a player who's fully bought, and it was only $300. It's just if everyone had gone for it, then it would have been a different story. Regardless, Sparrow going to have the AWP in hand. M4s across the board, and Envy, well, they've only got 2 rifles in play. Everyone else going to be sticking with the SMGs, trying to take a low investment win.
Oh, they do go for the peak, but unfortunately it doesn't really work out in their favor. Mal's obliterated in a few measly seconds. Now the explosion on towards the bomb site as well, hoping to do the same to the rest of his CT brethren. Sixer headshot comes through with that Kalashnikov. Can rail down Rallen. And look at this. They already realize that the battle has been lost. They're forced to try and fall back. But one of their men shouldn't escape as well, as they have a backstab. EnVyUs are ready for this. They are prepared. And Furlan, he's been denied the save. His teammates, they're still hoping they can get through unscathed, though.
I mean, this is the best round that Envy could have hoped for coming into this, coming into round 19. I feel like out of everything that could have happened, going for that low investment round, only buying up the 2 rifles, having everyone else stick to the MAC-10s and a UMP. It was a round they never should have got, but thanks to Team Kinguin not anticipating that and not having the head armor, you see Maz go down off the bat, has no chance to retaliate against the MAC-10 through the smoke. They just pour into the site on the back of it, instantly find the frags necessary. They use the rifles to lock down the longer ranges. As a result, they invested next to nothing into that round. Look at how much money they've got, and that has put them in the driving seat for the next couple of rounds to come.
It's true. It's left them in a good situation. You can see Kinguin trying to work out what they can actually bring to the table here, as they have 2 weapons to play with. They're just sort of trying to work out what the rest of them should do. They do invest around this, and potentially they can achieve something, but Sparrow needs to go so huge. We really have to see him step up the mark, roll back the years, to say, because he's just not really done too much. We need to see more coming out from Miku as well. If he could step up to what we used to see from him, it would be huge. Just try and do just that, but actually doesn't even find a kill. It's going to be Scream, get a bit bloodthirsty. Takes a 2K, one of them being his own teammate.
And Rallen here to try and trade this out. Smoke is down for the time being. Furlan in mid as well. Still 2 players over here towards A, and Sixer could get spotted on out as his barrel might be peeking out around the corner. Furlan isn't going to be going wide enough to find that anytime soon, but it's Sparrow to deal with. Happy, the lurk player, over towards B. And you can already see that Mouse is kind of rotating on off now to rejoin his teammates over towards A. Wherever Happy is, the bomb isn't, and down goes Sixer and RPK. Furlan going to find both of them with the CZ. Scream at Long, going to find himself in a 1v3. Does at least dispatch of Rallen, but he's still got 3 players left to worry about. 50 seconds left. Bomb down in mid, though. He's got to go recover that, and you can already see players rotating around galore. Mal's going to find the shot. Down he goes, 11-9. As Kinguin, they maintain their lead.
Off the back of such an awkward buy as well there. Investment around the broken economy they had to play with. They just stuck it all in, put all their eggs in one basket and hope for the best, and it actually did pull out for them. Meanwhile, though, EnVyUs, they're starting to invest a lot of money. You can see it start to drain, and they're getting towards a situation where they won't have too much left if they keep going like this. They need to bounce back, deny Kinguin from getting themselves into a stable economy situation. If Kinguin get this round, there isn't going to be that reset potential. They have to try and deny that. EnVyUs, they really need to bounce back into this one early. And unfortunately for them, they lose a lot of sustain into the early round as well. You can see Happy drop to below 50 HP. That is not a great way to kick the round off.
Yeah, he's already tagged down low, and it's kind of sucked the momentum out of this a little bit. He's going to be the player coming in through drop. Now the rest of his teammates trying to exert pressure out towards middle, do at least isolate Mihu over towards Long, but he's just going to smoke it off. Falls on back. Now rejoins Sparrow in the site, who turns his attention towards Long with the AWP, looking down range, watching the peek out around the corner, and he should be able to find that initial frag at least. Mihu instead going to take the aggressive duel over towards mid. As Sixer looks to round the corner. RPK there, and as he just stampedes up, it does give Mihu the audio cue at least, but he still falters. Sixer finds the initial frag. Sparrow behind SWAT, gonna try and banish these players to David Jonesy. Locker gonna peek out wide, but Captain Jack Sparrow couldn't quite make it work. Fallen gonna go down, as does Rowland, and now it's XMS next to full. 2-on-3. Mao's gonna go down, though. The trade does come through, and it's all on Rowland. He's isolated, he's alone, and he's all the way over towards mid. Now looking to make his way up through long to try and find some exits.
Yeah, just hoping to at least slow them down a little bit. That's a crazy round as well, because you look at that from an economic standpoint. Kinguin reset off the back of it as they needed to link these rounds together. It's so scary how much damage EnVyUs have actually just done in one round. They set themselves up now to equalize the scoreline. They're going to get their 10th round on the board here. Most likely, they could try and work their way through and get that following round. Things are kind of weak. They will be able to just squeeze out a bit of a force buy all over the place into the following round. I believe Rowland as well, trying to do some damage. Oh, gets them both solo, 1 and 5 HP. But no actual kills just yet. Yeah, if you look at that, it's kind of awkward, but they can invest around it. It's going to be a little bit broken here and there, though. They're going to be missing a couple of swings and roundabouts to close that one out.
Yeah, I mean, this is where that, that free round in round 4 that EnVyUs went for is going to be paying dividends, at least. I mean, you can see 3 of these players already have so much money left in their banks. I mean, Happy's a little bit low on money. RPK isn't looking too great, but for the most part, they've got everything they're going to need. And even if they lose this, it's going to take a couple in a row for Kinguin to finally break the bank that has built up on the side of EnVyUs. And well, I mean, with this buy on the cards, it's not looking like this round is going to be the round in question, at least. They've got to rely on these rifles. They do have to try and make it work. 6 are going to be boosted on up to look over the top of the smoke. Trying to spot out the aggression over at platform. Everyone for EnVyUs over here towards B, not even happy on the lurk, as it looks like they might just load all their eggs into one basket and hit this B site.
See if that is going to be the case right now, though. Just holding their ground. Locked into position. They have been able to take control of drop down, though. The only scary factor is it is controlled from outside of window. Rowland would have had the information that they have been able to slip their way in, but no, they cannot get out to go for the connector. Backstab Mouse as well, the right time to strike, but he can't quite find the frags. In the end, he will adjust himself, though, and do some damage here. Sixer is hoping he'll peek into his crosshairs. He just keeps going for these small bobs in, bobs out, though. Keeps on weaving, and he's doing work right now. Leaves them in such a good situation. A 3 versus 2, they outnumber their opposition. Sixer has to try and do it all on his own. Needs to find the frags, peeks in, but isn't aware of the positional play of Furlan. The headshot comes through, and Scream, quick on his heels, will make his play towards the A-bomb site. No one is there, but they can quickly rotate to try and deal with him. If Rowland spots him out and eliminates him with just a couple of measly shots, he's so low. It would be another round going back in the way of Kinguin. Finally get themselves into a good situation. Pre-fire, the spam. He knows where he is, Harry, but he just can't take him down just yet.
Itchy trigger finger does mean his position can be given away. Scream gets the bomb down just in the nick of time. They're just going to rush onto the site to try and deal with him, and Rowland makes up for his earlier shortcomings, does finally get the frag, and that's going to be Kinguin to find themselves a 12th. But as we said earlier, the economy on Envy means that buying into this next round is still going to be more than possible, especially with that plant from Scream.
That's true. It was so vital as well that you got that extra bomb plant cash, because sure, if they kept going through with these on and off rounds, they would have had okay money to play with, but they weren't building up a loss bonus or a win bonus. It was just kind of stagnating. They were left in limbo at that point. So the bomb plant and the kills they found in that round do help their cash. Gives them that little bit extra to try and allow them to get a following buy into the next round as well if things don't go their way. Kinguin, meanwhile, had still money to play with as well. The investments will go down. Sparrow back on the AWP, the weapon that we need to see more out of him still, but let's see if that is going to be the case as we work our way through. Could this be the time where Kinguin actually link rounds together, or is it going to be the same old story?
Scream going to be lurking out over towards mid, trying to spot something out, and actually Mihu's pushed on up over towards long. He takes the peek, then Scream could potentially find him the opener, but instead he's going to relegate himself back and rejoin the rest of his teammates. Everyone else over towards B, looking like once again they're just going to go for this push out over towards the B site. Now, it hasn't worked out too great for them in the past, but let's see if this is going to be a different story. No wall of smokes, no anything to signal this play just yet. And now the smokes and flash is going to rain on in. RPK straight down in through drop. Already control going to be going the way of them. Rowland trying to rotate over towards Rock to deal with this. Will be caught out, but doesn't matter. RPK misses those shots and will be punished for it. Mao's burning in the fire and flames, trying to get the hell out of there. Will falter. XMS to find it. And now it's Rowland desperately trying to cling onto this B site. Gets himself a second, but XMS and Happy make quick work of the defending forces. Sparrow on the rotate from 8. Watching the cross, and okay, smoke was there, but he gets the frag anyway. It's all on Happy. 1v2.
That's huge so far from Sparrow. He's been doing so much damage into this round. Those 2 kills on the board is just what we need to see. Does go for the peak carry, but he misses. Just short of taking down Happy. Bomb gets planted as well now. The situation is favoring him, but Miku is able to ramp up the rifling skills. Will find a headshot. Another defuse will go their way. That is going to be their 13th round secured. And that's scary, because Kinguin finally linked these 2 rounds together. We take a look at the economy of EnVyUs as well. I mean, they did get that bomb plant down. And they had a little bit to play with off the back of what they saved, but you can see the cracks are starting to show. This is most likely going to be one of their final few buys, as seems like they have burnt their way through that buffer. It doesn't complement them as much as well. They can't get as many bells and whistles into this round.
Yeah, I mean, the real issue is here. It's such an important, pivotal round for Envy to try and win. Because if they end up losing this round, look at how little money they have. It's going to be 14 to 10 if Kinguin pick it up. Their economy is going to be down and out, and that's going to allow Kinguin to potentially arrive at match point. And almost entirely for free. It's also going to give them a chance to build up an economy of their own. So this is where Envy have to try and erect some barriers, and already 2 players over at long. They switch up the setup almost completely as Scream's out here with the bomb. A 3rd player rotating around in the form of Sixer now to watch the aggression out over in middle. And then they leave Happy and RPK to shut down any sort of aggression over there towards B. This time, though, Kinguin, they've read this great. 3 players for them over towards A.
Flashbangs coming in. They will go for the peak, but Sparrow is too quick. Takes 1 down, trying to reposition. Unfortunately, XMS was ready to retaliate. The trade does come back through, leaves them in a 4 versus 4. Not the best start to the round, as this does now favor the T's. EnVyUs starting to make their approach through. RPK with a late round backstab as well, but Mao's trying to take the fight. Unfortunately, cannot quite do it. They're getting better and better. More frags going their way second by second. They will be hitting that A bomb site heavy, and they're in such a good spot to try and lock it down.
Rolling in through the murder hole, and there's a reason they call it that as he quickly finds out. Down he goes at the hands of Happy. It's all on Furlan. 1v3, who, in spite of in that last map, had a very strong performance. His task is just going to be too much for him. He's just going to elect to try and hold on to his rifle. Money on the side of Kinguin going to be very low, and this is a good chance for MB to try and equalize it back out, or at least get close to it, because coming into the next round, Kinguin aren't going to have much money at all, so they will probably have to just elect to go for the eco. We might see Sparrow, buy down a $2,000 here and there, potentially a couple of pistols dropped courtesy of Furlan. But, I mean, even then, right, even with what they do get, it should allow MB to potentially pick up a 12. The only kind of potential is that they decide to go for the Force, in the knowledge that the best that you could see MB get would be that 13-13 scoreline before they get another buy on the cards. In which case, that could be something that trips MB up. Because, I mean, when you look at Maz and Ralin, neither of them have enough money to buy into the next round anyway, right? So a Force here is still incredibly possible.
It's true. There's a lot on the line to this round. I mean, it's so hard to call at this point as well, because Kinguin, they're so on and off, it seems, in some of these rounds. It looks like it's unreproducible for them in a lot of things they go for. It just seems to sort of be luck with a few of the frags actually they pick up. So it's quite scary. It's very unpredictable. Let's see if they can actually close this one down, though. Furlan. Early tags going out, but won't quite connect upon anyone. Sixer, once again situated towards the B-bomb site. Usually it's heavy contention. He does get hit and put under a lot of pressure of trying to make his way through. This time, it's a little bit more peaceful. He's allowed to actually walk out because the fight is going on over towards the A-bomb site. Everyone's peeking out. XMS, an easy kill back on towards Miku. Sixer's going to be relaying this information that B seems fairly clear as well now.
Yeah, Flash going to force him back. He's going to be quite out of the open and actually can't quite fall on back. That's going to allow Furlan to find the equalizer back into a 4-on-4, but the rest of Envy already hot on their heels in towards the site to trade this out, trying to avenge their fallen comrades. And Mao's able to get one with the USP, quickly dealt with by Scream. And Ralin, his foot's going to be spotted. They know exactly where he is. He's desperately trying to just duck on out. Happy closing on in. Bomb's going to go down. It's a 3-on-2. Only pistols for Kinguin. It's not looking good here. Happy has actually completely bypassed Sparrow for the time being. They walk straight past each other. He's going to sneak out towards the A site. The call's going to come in to Ralin, who's only got a P2K to try and deal with this. They leave Sparrow over towards B, and I'm not gonna say it, but we could actually see a bit of a ninja defuse here potentially. No, actually, never mind. Scream not going to be falling on back just yet. Doesn't believe that was clear. Doesn't believe Happy's call. Sparrow's got onto the site. Does have a kit, but Scream just waiting with bated breath for this to come through. Here's the defuse. Peeks on out. Misses the shots. And Scream, things are about to get very bad. He needs to get it down. He goes. That was worrying. I thought he was prioritizing headshot percentage over the round there.
Kinguin got it. Kinguin got the defuse. Kinguin got the defuse.
Oh, Scream This is why you didn't make G2. This is why you didn't get onto G2 Scream. It's things like this. 11 to 14, a round that shouldn't have been, and Jackie's lost for words.
I was like, right, when you said that, I was watching, I was like, that was blue though. And I was like, hang on, why was the colour blue? And then I just realised what was occurred. Oh my god.
That's a round that should have never happened. 11 to 14. And I think we're both just astounded.
That's crazy that they've actually been able to pull that one out. Kinguin, no stake into that round at all. It was like, oh, okay, fair play. He's heard the bomb defuse noise, peeked out, knows completely what's going on, missed a couple of pistol shots, kills him with the AWP, but then we're just like, wait. Well, that is absolutely crazy that has unfolded. And EnVyUs are going to be so confused about what's going on as well now, is working into this. This is sour. This has left a sour taste in their mouths. Kinguin hungry to do more as well. If they find this fragment towards XMS, this is good. Sure, they've lost Sparrow, left the 4 versus 4 though. If they can reposition, try and cut them off at mid here, they can still pick up this round. They're all funneled in. They're left in a, a tight contained area, Harry. They could do so much damage if they can find the frags. Rallen will take down RPK, but Scream retaliates. But Miku able to reign supreme. One frag hungry for more.
Yeah, Bomb's going to be down and out in the open. The rotate already coming around from Maz. Mihu watching the aggression out through long. They know exactly where that bomb is. 45 seconds left, and Six has got to try and push on out to get it. Happy's not really helping, just watching the flank instead. He's tagged down very low, but Mihu going to be hot on their heels, and Sixer doesn't see it coming. He falls. It's all on 9 HP Happy. 30 seconds left, and it looks like Kinguin going to be picking up their match point. 11 to 15, unless Happy can 1v3.
Yeah, left on 9 HP in a dream. You don't imagine you'll be seeing too much coming out of this, man. And the factor is as well, because they lost that previous round off the back of the defuse, you now have Kinguin picking this one up, set themselves up with 15th round on the board. EnVyUs forced to play for overtime once again, but this time around, it's even harder. It's not 2 rounds they need, it's 4. This is really an awkward situation to be in. That has got to be so demoralizing coming into this.
I mean, it's all because of that one ninja, right? It was all because of something that never should have occurred. And it just completely slips on by. Scream misses, and now they find themselves 11 to 15, and it's ridiculous, right? Because it's a situation that never should have happened. It should be 13-13 right now, and I can't stress that enough. It's EnVy have completely thrown this away.
It's true. They had a chance. It was looking good. I think this is the replay of it as well.
Look at it. Look at Scream. Here he is. He's confident. He's going to land this shot. Peeks on out. Oh, God, I'm not the headshot machine they thought I was. Gets the kill, but Sparrow, with his fast fingers, somehow gets the defuse.
That is outrageous. So close there towards the end
I
as
know.
well.
Literally milliseconds.
Just as the defuse, he finds the frag. The exact, millisecond. That is crazy. Unprecedented, really, that has been allowed to actually occur. Scream is going to be kicking himself. He's going to be absolutely furious. You've got to imagine. So demoralizing.
Yeah, no, and in my opinion, that could be it now. I mean, normally you could see EnVy try and fight back from this position, being 4 rounds behind, but I think because of the circumstances that have led to this scoreline, I imagine they are going to be tilted.
Yeah, because you look at it as well, right? Honestly, they were in a good situation. Off the back of that round, they would have had money to play with. They had a lot of weapons they had saved. Yep. You come into that following round, they've actually got a bit of a stable economy to play with. You imagine they get that as well, so they have an equal scoreline with the better economy. Now, they have to play for overtime and get 4 rounds with not much.
Yeah, they hardly have anything. They have a grumpy Scream. I imagine Happy just hasn't.
Well, Happy's not really living up to his name,
exactly.
Is he?
Yeah, I am
more like grumpy.
Yeah,
because he's gonna be very furious.
And I mean, justifiably so, right? Yeah. So now EnVy have to try and find 4 rounds without conceding anything to Kinguin, and on the back of a very weak buy. Well, not very weak, but not as strong as we've seen them have, and we've seen them lose with far more. So already Sixer out for revenge over here towards platform. Rallen peeking on out. And for the time being, just a stalemate over there towards B.
Scream himself here, trying to bait out some kind of information from the side of Kinguin. It will actually come his way. Miku fights towards him, but finds a headshot so easily there. Takes him down, repositions through mid as well. Has taken a bit of a hit, left with 52 HP, but still alive and kicking. Meanwhile, towards the B-bomb site, it is going to be some aggression coming out. Sixer and Co are there. The thing is, though, they don't have too much utility to play with, Harry. It's very all over the place. You have 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs, and a Molotov between 4 members. It's not great. They can't really efficiently block that B site off. They can try and remove some of the angles and force Kinguin to bend a little bit, but them really forcing them off the site and actually giving themselves a good opener is going to be very awkward. They need to have an excellent pincer play here. It's going to rely very heavily on RPK as they explode their way through, but can they actually find the frags? They do brush in towards the bomb site. Mouse will get the opener. Sixer does retaliate, but Rallen, lying in wait like the assassin he is, will peek out. There's one, can't quite find the second. Happy does take them down. Another headshot goes the way of Happy as well. But it's too much to ask him to single-handedly close it down. Kinguin 2-0 the series. Outrageous that they've been able to pick this one up off of what was such a crazy round with Scream.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at the thing that really defined the outcome of this game towards the end, you have to look at that, right? I mean, it would have been a completely different story. Like you said, 13-13, they would have been ahead in terms of their economy. Even if they'd lost a couple of rounds, they would have been fine. So it could have gone 14-13, and they still would have had a fighting chance.
That's the thing, that 13-13, with them having the cash advantage, with with Kinguin not having much money to play with, they would have been on a force, they would have been in an awkward situation. Even if they won it, we saw so many resets coming out because they never had a stable economy. But that was just taken away from them.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy from start to finish. The other issue, as we look back at some of the highlights, is I mean, RPK I think had a very weak performance on Cobble. His stats, suggest he did kind of okay, but his lackluster both control and entry fragging ability in drop down was something that not only really badly affected them over on the CT side, but then again on their T side, he kind of picked it up towards the end when we did see that scoreline get ever closer. But I mean, even now, I just feel like on the CT side, that was really where they were at fault. They kept losing drop, they couldn't hold it, and when you look past the obvious Scream through the living hell out of that round, then I mean, what else can you really say? I think a lot of it does fall onto RBK for his inability maybe just to connect some of the shots that we normally see him get with ease. I mean, he's been a powerhouse for the side of. For the side of EnVy.
Even if we just cast our mind back to a few moments ago over Inferno, he was playing very, very well. It was good to see RPK actually back in the driving seat. He was looking unstoppable. But then it did kind of go to waste, and that's kind of what we saw overall. The story of EnVyUs is, you saw them get rounds where we're like, right, Kinguin have been reset. Kinguin now have no money to play with, but they bounce back. And it was more so as well. Initiative on ecos, Kinguin looked like they had a lot to play with. There was shock and awe style plays. They had a game plan. If they didn't have, a good economy, they would try and make it work in a different style of play. Whereas with EnVyUs, it seemed like they'd just play more of a default, just rifle round approach with their pistol buys on those ecos. And I don't know if that's more of just the passive style of calling coming out there from Happy sort of, in-game leading style and how he wants to try and control that unit, but it did not work for them. And that was one of the reasons, even when they were in those situations, that they lost so many ecos, they couldn't really get themselves a couple of easy rounds as well to add to that scoreline.
I mean, there was a lot coming into play. Also, I mean, the fact that you said a lot of the rounds that Kinguin got, I did feel like it was more by chance. Yeah. Even the Ninja Defuse round was completely...
Which, never should have happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was a round that shouldn't have been. There were a lot of rounds that kind of felt like that. That one perhaps being the most easy to kind of... When they finally peaked at just, okay, there's something seriously wrong with EnVy. But there were a lot of rounds in which Kinguin, it did just feel like were entirely down to chance. So I don't necessarily think that in that second map, at least, we saw them play, that much better. But it just seemed like EnVy just, weren't up to scratch. It was
who could make the most mistakes there in a lot of those rounds, because it was plays towards that A bomb site, but essentially on the eco rounds where we saw Kinguin bounce back so many times, it was weird plays towards the A bomb site where they peak 1 versus 1. They wouldn't have any form of being able to trade efficiently over on that side of EnVyUs, right? So we just saw those CZs up close personal. That's where they play so effectively, and they just picked up so many kills, and it just worked out for them.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I mean, the obvious inability to hold drop was something that kept coming back to bite them. Sparrow was absent almost with the AWP, having a couple of key moments here and there, but very little. And he's someone over on the side of Kinguin that you normally look to actually kind of make those influential plays, especially on Cobblestone. And he was absent almost entirely on their T side, for example, and later on their CT side. So it's like they didn't have players that you would normally expect to step up. It was just the fact it felt like EnVy weren't playing that well. And what else really is there to say? It was poor performance from Scream in that one pivotal round that really threw it. But I mean, then consistent errors from the likes of RPK with drop down. There were a couple of other issues in the sense that Scream and Sixer were never really properly utilized over on that A site. They'd always get caught out as a result of the weak drop down control. It was just a lot of issues over on the side of EnVy. And I mean, I guess Kinguin just didn't have as many issues. So there you go.
It's true. Towards the end, they were able to tighten things up a little bit, but why don't we see what that has actually done to the standings as well? Because when we came into this, one of the things we spoke about is how good this would have been if we actually saw EnVyUs pick it up, because they would have been bumped up quite a few spots. Instead, they lose 2 maps. Kinguin sure stay at the bottom of that leaderboard, but EnVyUs now as well, they're in that 10th place.
Yeah, 7-9. I mean, it was something that could have been great for them. They could have very easily. I mean, look, they're currently with 7. If they'd been able to get themselves 2, then they would have been up in the 9s. That puts them up there with HR, Mouse, and just above FaZe, depending on the round difference of it all. Now, instead, we see Team Kinguin. The sad part is they do very little with that. I mean, it's laid the groundwork for them to make their way up from the bottom of the board and get out of relegation, but they've still got a lot of work left to do. I mean, we have to see strong performances from them consistently in their next couple of games as well. So I think that's going to be something interesting to watch. Who knows? Kinguin could eventually actually take over EnVyUs. I mean, now there's a bit of a rivalry between these 2 teams almost.
It's true. I mean, if you look at that pair potentially, the only thing that's really differentiating them is how many rounds they actually lost going out through those and that round difference. If they then in their following games are able to actually bounce back and have some answers, potential for them to actually climb their way up. Maybe get themselves just outside of the relegation zone, which is going to be what they want to work towards. But still, it's interesting to see that's actually how things have been affected there, because, as we said, it wasn't going to have any major impact to display today, but it does set them up to try and do something throughout the rest of the weeks, potentially, when we do see Kinguin keep playing. Whereas for EnVyUs, it was just...
EnVyUs, it would have been, instant results up there in the top 4. Meanwhile, with Kinguin, it's laid the groundwork for them to now progress further and hopefully get out of that relegation spot, because let's not forget, they were the team that came up from ESCA Premier, from the Mountain Dew League. I think it'd be a real shame to see them go after. They have had a couple of strong performances, a bit of a shaky time here and there. But ultimately, as we saw today, they're not a team you can underestimate.
It's true. They've still got a lot of hidden up their sleeves, and we hope to see more coming out from them, but are we going to get a chance to? That can only be answered in the later episodes of ESL Pro League Season 5 episodes, like a little mini-series. Yeah. So tune in tomorrow, actually. We'll be back with more games, though. There's going to be 4 games tomorrow. Well, 4 maps. Even, so that'll be good. We can come back in with the action. Obviously, that is going to be me and Harry once again. But for today, that is everything. It's all been tidied up. It's been wrapped into a little nice package, and we're going to be shipping that off to you guys. So thanks so much for sticking around. If you have missed any of the action today and wanted to catch it later on, do head over to the YouTube channel, though, and subscribe there and ring the bell. But that is everything for today. Have a good one.
Bye.